staring at me and like showing up and like all that other crazy mess. Shout out to them, for making this old man feel special. Shout out to all the waitresses that had to sing the song Happy Birthday. And then when they asked me if my wish came true, I said, no, your shirts are still on. But anyway.
Yo, okay. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah, you had to be there. You just had to.
I know, man. We've had conversations, so I know. I'm just trying to make sure everything is right, so then that way we can get started. I
Oh,
want your
yes,
screen,
definitely.
want your screen to be big too. Okay, so there we go. Yes. So here's how it's gonna go, folks. I'm not going to invite anybody up on the panel just yet until we finish the interview. So the interview is going to be between 15 to 20 minutes. I know I got Jay Styles down there, so I need Jay Styles to keep track of the time. So when it hits the 15 mark, I need you to let me know, Styles. When it gets to that 30 mark, I need you to let me know as well. So then that way we could get the panel on here, and then we could have them ask their questions as they see fit. How are we gonna do this interview is that I'm gonna let Mr. Entertainment, because there's a lot of stuff that he wants to talk about. So before I get to my questions of what I want to talk about, I want him to start this off firing all cylinders, and I want him to talk his talk and say what he got to say about everything we discussed off live that he wanted to vent. So I'm gonna let him take the floor, but before I do that, I'm gonna just give this introduction real quick. This is Eszgotbarz, and this is BARZ Wrestling Media Sessions. That's right, sessions, where we talk that talk with a little bit of hip hop in between. Pro wrestling is the main topic, and that's all I got to say about that. And we got our first, well, not our first, but one of our first special guests on the live today. I'm talking about Mr. Entertainment, who's probably wrestled your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler. He's probably took the title from your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler. He probably put him in a Hurricane Rana. He probably power slammed him, and he probably DDT'd him too. And he probably pinned him 1, 2, 3, and took the title like CM Punk and went into the crowd and went, peace, goodbye. I'm talking about Mr. Entertainment. What's good, fam?
Well, I don't know whether to start my intro off with a freestyle or what, but that's the dopest intro I've had in like years.
Yeah,
I'm
I've been
like,
practicing
I'm
that.
I'm wait, I'm standing at the doorway waiting for my music to hit, and I'm like, oh, you're not going out, Junior. It's the interview. So, but no, for those of y'all that don't know me, I am Mr. Entertainment Junior White or Horace White. Uh, I've wrestled. I started training wrestling probably somewhere in 19, like I'm old, so 1999 is like when I originally got my first taste of being in the actual ring. I lived in Virginia at the time, and my friends were telling me about this wrestling organization in Carolina. A lot of y'all probably heard about it. It's called Omega, that was run by Matt and Jeff Hardy. That was my first introduction in it. I can't say they trained me, but like I got in and they showed me certain things. But I left and I was just like, it's too far of a drive for me. I can't keep kicking out money every week to go here and sleep in the car and whatever. So I left it alone.
Mm-hmm.
Years later, I'm in Syracuse, New York.
Mm-hmm.
There's a I'm clicking to the channels and everybody's got a public access channel. So I see this wrestling organization that's like a bus ride from me. At the time, it was called UWA. And I went there, talked to the head trainer, which was Zachary Springate III. And from there, my wrestling career basically took off. I originally started wrestling under a mask. I was called the Black Mantis. I held from the 36 chambers of Shaolin.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
It was a dope gimmick, you know. I got to do a lot of. Everybody used to watch Saturday morning karate flicks when they were younger, well, at least I did. So I got
Mm-hmm.
to like do a lot of the stuff that I seen on TV.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would watch a lot of karate movies as I was training, and I'm like try to incorporate it. Now, mind you, I don't know one bit of karate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know none. But I'm watching things like Rumble in the Bronx. I'm rewatching The Last Dragon, Nine Depths of the Ninja, all these different things because like a lot of people don't understand. You can find moves in moves that you see. You just
Mm-hmm.
got to incorporate them.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Throughout my career, I've wrestled. I've been in the ring with several former WWE, TNA stars. Like let me see, there was the Heartthrobs. I don't know if anybody remember them. Romeo Mazzarli and Antonio Promise Thomas. Uh, they are the first names that I ever wrestled that showed me that I wasn't all that hype. I ain't gonna just say the good parts of it. I gotta say the bad too. They showed me I wasn't all that hype
Mm-hmm.
because Romeo Rosali, I did a move that I wasn't supposed to do. I just figured he'll go with it, and he went with it. But then like after like we got up, he said, you know, you never do that in a match, and he blasted me in the chest with his foot, and it moved my left chest plate over like a half an inch.
Ooh.
Yeah, when I say he blasted me, that taught me right there. That humbled me. That was my don't fuck with this guy moment.
Oh.
Excuse the language. That
Mm-hmm.
was that was that was like everybody has that aha moment. That was my damn that hurt moment.
Wow.
I mean, after the match, we went in the back. He said, "Look, we went down because at the time OVW was the only school that basically trained WWE stars." He was like, "Look, you try something like that at OVW, or you try that with a vet." He's like, "They're gonna do more than what I did." And I said, "Thank you, sir." Shook his hand, and we had a drink at the bar.
Man, that was
Because
rough.
yeah, it was that introduction. Like, because at the time, I can't say I was on fire, but I was warming up.
Mm-hmm.
I was definitely warming up, and
Mm-hmm.
when he when he did that, it let me know, hey, you you gotta roll, you gotta do what's told of you. You can't just jump in a match and call an audible.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, you know, I'm young and I'm coming up and I'm thinking, yo, these guys ain't all that great. But then when I listened after me and him had like a 20-30 minute conversation at the bar, and I listened to everything he said, I took it in and I went back and I reevaluated myself and I was like, you know, I got to do better.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely got to do better. And like at that point in my life, I came out of my mask because I was no longer the Black Manis.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, for wrestling under a mask, probably like the first 5 or 6 years of wrestling, and then finally coming out of it, and then getting punched in the face, I didn't know how to sell
Mm-hmm.
because I'm wearing a mask. You don't see a facial expression underneath a mask.
Right.
So I'm getting hit, and everybody's like, "Why ain't you selling?" I'm like, "Oh," and I'm forgetting I'm not wearing a mask.
Mm-hmm.
So until I finally got shoot punched in the face, I kind of learned quickly like either sell or they'll make you.
Right. Yeah. I get it. I get it.
It was one of those like learn as you go, hands on experience type things.
Yeah, I get it. So basically, so this was this the transition to your Mr. Entertainment character, or did you have any other character in between before you became Mr. Entertainment? Because it seems from what you're saying that the Black Mantis character was basically the introduction to you in the ring, and then after that, that's when you got into the Mr. Entertainment thing. Am I correct?
Actually, no, there was one more character that I did, and this is actually pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
I called myself the Dark Knight.
Okay.
Now, what's funny what's funny about that is that I'm calling myself the Dark Knight Horace White. I got a Batman tattoo on my arm,
Mm-hmm.
and basically what happened is, and this is a true story, and I think I got the paper somewhere around here, but one day I'll post that. I got a letter from DC and Warner Brothers telling me to cease and desist with the name Dark
Oh.
Knight. Now, even though I spelt it differently, it was still causing commotion. It didn't cause a lot of commotion, but like I wasn't trying to get sued for $1 million, knowing I only at that point was making 25,000 a year at my job, 25, 30,000 a year at my job. And I wasn't about to be like, okay, uh, I had the whole outfit for it and everything. But like I said, they spelled it DARKKNIGHT. I
Mm-hmm.
spelled it uh DARKNIGHT,
Mm-hmm.
which is a difference of spelling, but basically was the same thing. So after I got that letter, I was like, man, what do I call myself? I'm like, what do I do? Can I just be average, whatever, this, that, and the third? And I actually have the video and I will post it. There was this guy called himself the Human Tornado.
Oh, that's my guy, yo, with the afro.
The,
That's my guy. Yo. That's my guy. Human Tornado. He wrestled for Wrestling Society X. I used to chat
yes,
with
he
him on
did.
Facebook. Yo, that's my
So
guy. You with the
I used to
afro
chat
and
with him on
everything.
MySpace. That's how
Yo.
old this is.
Yeah.
So the Human Tornado, he did that dance in the corner where he kick you, kick you, kick you, then do the split.
Yeah.
But he had like a like 70s vibe of how he did his, and I did mine like Kid and Play.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that one battle royal, and everybody was like, "Yo, that." They was like, "Yo, you gotta keep doing that," and I was like, "Yo, that was like a one off." I'm like, I'm not doing that."
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, "Yo, bro, you definitely got to do that again." And I was like, "Okay." So I kept doing it, kept doing it. Now, mind you, I didn't have a name at this point. I was just plain old Horace White. I was just Horace White. That's all I was. And
Mm-hmm.
then there was like, then one day, a guy, his name was Tiger Smith, and he was like, "What you do is so entertaining that you should call yourself Mr. Entertainment." He's like, "But you gotta do the dance with it whenever you can." He's like, "You are not entertaining without that dance."
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, oh, because I really just did it just that once. You know what I'm saying? Just to see what kind of like reaction I would get. It was kind of like a people's elbows type story.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I did it that once, crowd ate it. Next thing you know, I'm getting like booked left and right. And I'm like, oh, they must really like my like wrestling. They was like, nah, man, we want to see that dance. We've been hearing about that dance. We need you to do that dance. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do the dance. So that's where Mr. Entertainment was born. And from there, he evolved into wearing suits and coming to the ring, you know what I'm saying, in the suit. And then formed a stable with two of my other wrestling buddies called BET, which was Best Elite Talent.
Mm-hmm.
So we ran that for like mad years. We was we was like the Black Four Horsemen, pretty
Mm-hmm.
much. We set the bar for, I feel, in my opinion, black wrestlers. Because when we showed up at venues, we wasn't in jeans, we wasn't in sneakers, we wasn't in uh none of that like go to the club attire. We showed up in suits like we was at church.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We had our bags, we rung in our bags, we shook everybody's hands, we did all the stuff to show how professional we was. That was like a great point in my life when I had that stable. And then when I kind of tried to slow down in wrestling, I was like, I'll just like manage y'all and be the mouthpiece. But
Mm-hmm.
that didn't work. So they needed me more in the ring. So as always, entertainment, as the slogan goes, is in the building.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's like part of like my career. I've had highs and lows, and I can't tell you the good without telling you the bad. I've had bad parts of my career where I let my ego, and no matter wrestling fan or wrestler, you will catch an ego real quick in the business. You will catch one real quick in the business. And I caught one, and I was humbled several times for it. Then when I just then when I talked to this kid, and I never forget his name. His name is Keith Zimmer, also mind for wrestling, great mind for wrestling. He just sat down and told me, he was like, I know you take wrestling serious. He's like, yeah. He's like, well, wrestling's supposed to be fun. He said,
Mm-hmm.
go out there and have fun and see how different your attitude changes.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I just started having fun, like fun with it. Oh, entertainment became like every kid's dream was to wrestle me. Every kid in that school, I want to wrestle him. Why? He'll make me look good. I don't care if I want to lose. I just know entertainment will make me look good. I don't care if I want to lose. I just want him to do that dance on me. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh God, the dance. It always comes down to the dance.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the like cool things about it. I think it's so cool that, like I said, yesterday being my birthday, a lot of wrestlers that I haven't heard from in like crazy long hit me up and was like, "Yo, happy birthday! You want to do a show?" I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Thank you, no." Like I'm done. I'm like my body can't move like I'm 20 or 30 or even 41 anymore. I'm like I'm at that age where I like a wrestling match for me has got to be the ultimate squash match. I said we got to beat Santino Morales' record. We got to beat the. It's like I come in, bell rings, I get pinned, I leave out. I said that's. I said I won't even change in the gear because the gear is going to take me too long to get in.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's my career now. I'm opening my school this summer, probably be this month. We getting everything in order. Promoter's license, all that to reopen up again in Auburn, New York. And I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna teach what I can and invite other people in, like D'Angelo. I'm gonna get at him, see what's up with him coming in, talk to a few other guys that I know in the business that not only just mainstream guys, but like local, like independent guys too, because a lot of people don't understand. A lot of these independent guys know a lot, and just because they say those who can't do teach, and a lot of these guys I'm looking at like, yo, you trained that kid? They're like, yeah, and I'm like, now he's doing ROH and AEW and at one point it was Chikara. I'm like, that's dope,
Mm-hmm.
so that's the wrestling career part of me. Like I love wrestling. I'm always gonna like love it, whether it be as a fan or as a wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always gonna love it. That's part of being a wrestling fan because there's no wrestler on this planet that is not a fan of what he does.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know any wrestler that can sit up and say, "Nah, I don't watch wrestling." No, you don't watch other companies' wrestling. You may watch wrestling, you just don't watch theirs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's it's cool being retired, but it's also cool when people remember you. And a lot of people posted on my Facebook like super old matches of me, and it was like, "Can you still do that backflip?" Nope. Can you still do that front flip? Nah. Can you still do that backdrop and land on your feet? Nope. If I give you an arm drag, can you still land on your feet, do that cartwheel backflip? Nah, bruh. Not even if they paid you, man. Ain't enough money in the world to make me want to risk that right now. I'm like, that'd be the last time that move get done. I'm like, I'll be in the hospital, like, but I did it. That's and, that's how it's definitely going to roll. It's going to roll just like that. And that's the wrestling career of Mr. Entertainment. Like I said, I still watch it. I still get involved in local independence. I'm always looking to help a young kid out by telling him what I feel he needs to be done, whether he takes the pointers or not. I'm still just going to point it out to him and tell him to work on that because you don't have to take my advice. You really don't. But
Mm-hmm.
if it comes down to it, what I'm saying, if and I've given a lot of advice and a lot of people haven't taken it, and then at the last moment they're like, okay, I'm gonna try it, and then they try it, and then they come to me like, look, when you came to me XYZ years ago and told me to do this and I didn't do it, I started realizing I was losing bookings, I was doing this, I was doing that. But the minute I started doing it, he's like, now I'm getting called to go over to like to the UK. Now I'm getting called to go over like in Canada, and I'm going to Cali, and I'm going to Virginia, and I'm going to Texas. And he's like, and it's all. He said, if I had only took your advice sooner, he said, I'd probably be this. And I was like, it doesn't matter as long as you took it. So
Mm-hmm. That's
that's
what's.
wrestling for me. I love it, and I love BARZ Media Wrestling.
Yeah, I appreciate the shout out, and I appreciate like the tidbits, of information that you began, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people know by now. We've talked previously before we even decided to do the interview. We have talked, and like
Oh yeah.
you dropped a lot of like like jewels as far as like content creating, as far as like just information on professional wrestling. You drop stuff of just being a human, period. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's up, because a lot of folks won't do that. A lot of folks won't do that. A lot of folks will gatekeep, and you have not been a gatekeeper ever since I've met you on TikTok. You've always been straight 100% OG when it came to like just in information and just being informative to like the younger ones, and people like me just trying to come out and do our thing. Like I really appreciate it. Um, there was something that we discussed, and I know you wanted to talk about it, and I know you wanted to put it out there and clear the air with it. I know you know what I'm talking about, so I would like you to get
Yeah.
into that and explain to everybody, especially to the ones that were informed and seen the video on the talk show. So you could go ahead.
The Kamaro Brown Show. Oh God, this is gonna take a minute. But anyway, so for those of you that don't know, I am a father of 8 beautiful children. I have 3 sons and I have 5 daughters. And yes, I am a shotgun father. Let me just put that out there. But one of my children, for 22 years, I wasn't sure if they were mine because the mother kept playing too many games. Now, this child was also at the age of 13. Her mother gave her up made her a ward of the state because she's high functioning autistic, which means she can get a job, she can do all that, but sometimes, her reality just isn't ours. I love, and I want to say this live. I still love that child. She will always be my daughter, but she made a choice that day. So me and her have been talking since I want to say for a while now about finding out if she was actually mine. And I'm like, yo, let's find a TV show to go on, because I'm like, when they have happy moments like that with you finding out that you're mine, they might do some crazy mess like, oh, well, let's go, let us take you to dinner out on us tonight, and let us do this, that, and the third. And we were all like excited for it. So
Mm-hmm.
called the Kamara Brown Show. Let them know that, like, I just want to know she's mine. I don't care about the situation with her mother. I just want to know if the child's mine. They're like, okay. We fly out to Stamford, Connecticut, and we're chilling. We're talking the night before. We actually went out to eat the night before the actual taping of the show, which was October 10th. So
Mm-hmm.
we're chilling. We're talking. I'm like, all right, I'll see you tomorrow on the show, and no matter what the outcome is, know that I love you. She was like, no problem. She's like, no problem, Dad. I love you too. We're at the show. I walk out there. She's giving me this dirty look, and I'm like, hold up. Okay, well, I'll just roll with it. I sit down and I'm calm. I'm calm at this point. Now, remind you, that show is 100% edited, because what a lot of people don't know is I got escorted off that stage like 4 times.
Wow.
Well, that's what a lot of people don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm sitting there and he's talking. He was like, "This is your daughter." He said, "Well, we're thinking this is your daughter." I said, "Yeah." He's like, "How do you feel I've been as a father?" And I'm like, I've been great.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "I've been great. I've done everything that a father's supposed to do. I've protected, I've given money, I've done all of that." She screams, "My mom has been my mom and dad for 18 years." And I'm like, "How?" I said, "So which one of us gave you up, your mom or your dad?" I said, "Because I got a call when you was 13 saying let this, let, let this, let the state have her. She could be the state's problem.
Mm-hmm.
That you wasn't giving your mother no life, that she couldn't date, and any guy that she brought home, you were all in their face talking all this sexual mess. She said she had to get rid of you and she couldn't stand you and that she hated you. But of course, that was edited. That's not
Mm-hmm.
on TV. If you
Wow.
watch the whole thing, and you can look it up on YouTube, all that's edited. So they're sitting there and I'm like, hold up. We're on national TV to find out if you're mine. But you're telling me that when you were 13, you remember me taking $3 from you to buy a drink. And I'm like, baby girl, I ain't never took money from any of my kids, especially at a young age. I'm like, now they give me money to take them to work because, of course, gas is pricey now and they don't want to
Mhm.
catch no bus. But I'm like, okay, so you're telling, and that I was late to pick you up from a wrestling show that you were literally 5 minutes up the road from. We did a show in Cortland, New York. It was ECPW. And I was like, okay, I'll pick you up. But wrestlers were picking me up in Rochester, where I had lived at that time. And we were coming from Buffalo, Rochester, Cortland. That was like a 2.5 hour drive. I went from being the main event to being the first match. So I was already late. I told her, I said, have your mother just bring you down to the show. Like, have her bring you down to the show. I said, it's fine. I said, you can literally look. She said, I can look up the street and see all the people there. I'm like, okay, it's like 5 minutes up the road, 30 seconds if your mother drives you. So on Kamara Brown show, I got told, oh, you're even late picking me up for a wrestling show. And I'm like, so $3 that I never took and being late to pick you up for a wrestling show defines me as a father.
Mhm.
And she just looked at me. And then Kamaro threw his little 2 cents in. And this is the first time I got sent off of the stage. And he was like, as a parent, and I was like, oh, bro, you can't talk to me about being a parent. I said, because before I came on here, I did my research on you. I said, there was a situation where your son OD'd in your house off for money that you gave him for the drugs. I said, and then you brought him
Ooh.
on TV to explain that to people. I said, so there's no way you can sit up here and say, as a parent. I said, because as a parent, I ain't never had none of my kids OD off nothing in my house. And I ain't never gave them money for drugs in my house. I said, so as a parent, you know, we're not going to compare apples to oranges right now. We just ain't going to do that. Then you can get the F off my stage. And I was like, okay, go in the back. We got to finish the taping. That was me going in the back, number one. I'm already hyped at this point. That's why y'all see the rest of the damn show with me being hyped like I came out there angry, but I wasn't. So now I'm out there second time. Second time, he's like, okay, we're going to start from this point, whatever. So we start at the point where the classic line of "Why are we here?" is going around now in the wrestling world, and that we were there because it wasn't because of something I did 22 years ago. It's something her mother did. Your mother slept with two men, and then I had to break it down for her. I said, "Do you know how like people get pregnant?" She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay, so it takes 2 weeks. That means in a 1 week span, your mother slept with me and another man."
Hmm.
I'm like, "Do the math." I said, "That means if they broke up on a Monday and she slept with me on a Wednesday, his guys were still in there too."
Mm.
Kamara was like, your parenting is just so bad. And I was like, wait a minute, what? My parenting is just, this is the second time I'm about to get sent off stage. I'm like, my parenting is what? I'm like, hold up, bro. I'm like, first of all, you can't talk to me about parenting. I said, you really can't. Why can't I? I said, because there will never come a time where I will ever look at my sons and tell them that I suck, you know, not
Wow.
gonna say the ending part of that. And I said that to him, and I was like, "You just like a switch up artist at this." He's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "How you go from being a dude that bag chicks and catching BJ's to being a chick that's bag and giving them?"
Wow. Hmm. So
So
not to cut you off, but I got quick, So basically, this whole entire time, he was just like he's basically from what I'm hearing from what you're saying, he's basically baiting you. Like every time you say something that's accurate as far as what you're doing with your children, with your wife, whatever the case may be, he's baiting you with a rebuttal that doesn't even connect to who you are. So he's basically going back and forth with you until he reels you in, and then you get upset, and then they go on. Then I'm guessing that's when you get sent off stage, and then you gotta gather
yeah,
yourself, and then, man, come on, man, that's whack, bro.
I
That's
came to
whack.
the realization that these TV shows are just like wrestling. You got your
Mm-hmm.
faces and you got your heel and you got the promoter, which he was the promoter, and he was in charge of saying, okay, she's got to go over, she's got to win. Everything she says, I'm going to get behind and I'm going to double down at, and we're going to make you look bad. But couldn't nobody make me look bad because it's like they say, you can destroy someone's whole life. Anybody that lies on me, I can destroy their life with the truth. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I'm like, so she's sitting up here lying on me, and I'm coming back with the truth that is like overwhelming that lie she just told. And then they play a video of her mother saying that how she doesn't think I've spent $60,000 in in 22 years. And I'm like, maybe more. I said, and then she's like, you only came into my life when I was 18. I was like, girl, I've been there since you was a baby. I said, I wasn't there when you was born. I'm finding out another man was there when you was born, and another man signed the birth certificate because that's who your mother wanted in the life. I said, that's the same man that your mom continuously sleeps with, even though she's married to a man that's like twice, that's like George Burns's age, because she's there for the
Oh.
money. So she's waiting for this man to kick the bucket so she and him can be okay. I said, but we're not going to talk about that, right? We're going to talk about how I'm such a bad father, right? I said, where did we, and I think this is still on the show. I said, where did we just go and eat at? Like, this is like 2 weeks prior to the show. I said, where did me, your brother, and his girlfriend all go to eat at? I said, we came to Syracuse, picked you up, we went to the mall, and we ate at Texas Day Brazil. And I don't even know if anybody know what that is. That is a that is a humongous steak place, and it is not cheap to eat there. It is not. Between me and her came a bill close to $300, and I'm talking like 286, because all it is people walk around with big slabs of meat from Ghana, Mongolia, and all these other places talking about, you want a piece, and you're like, yeah. Would you like bacon wrapped steak? Bacon wrapped steak. Hell, I love steak and I love bacon. Here, try this. Try this sauce from Africa that they're supposed to put in it. I'm like, $286 between me and you, and I paid for me and you. But you're trying to tell me I took $3 from you? And then I said, okay, let's say this is all real. Let's say I did take $3 from you. I think paying $286 covered that three. I said, not to mention, I said, when I lived in Connecticut for 2 years, working good, making money, nice car, big condo, all that other stuff, you would call me every week. Dad, can I have $75 here? Dad, can I have $100 here? Birthdays, you get what? $100. All this other stuff. I told them, let me get my phone and check my Cash App, and I'll show you how much money I've sent you in the just in the 2 years alone of me being in Connecticut, and that
Yeah.
was like 12,000.
Yeah. Not to cut you off, but
Mm-hmm.
Styles, you can start inviting people up, but I want you guys to stay muted because I want Mr. Entertainment to finish talking. So you guys can stay muted. When he's done, then we'll get into all the questions and stuff like that. So you guys can come up, but I need you guys to stay muted. Nobody should be unmuted. If you are unmuted, and we got to remind you a few times or whatever, you're going to be kicked off the panel. You're going to be sent down. So just please respect our guest and stay muted. All right, guys, go.
Nah, but like I was just sitting there and I'm like, wow. And then like after the whole show, we're in the back. I'm in the room, I'm changing, I'm getting back because we're about to go to the airport. And then one of the handlers that's out there says, "Hey, Junior," and I'm like, "What's up?" They're like, "Do you want to talk to Cheyenne?" And I'm like, "Cheyenne?" I'm like, who's that? And I'm like, says it's Jade's cousin. And I was like, "Oh yeah, bring her back." And then she comes in the back, and then Jade comes in the back, and she runs up to me, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're my dad." And I'm like, "Hold up," because like, let me jump back a few steps. So after I'm escorted off stage, like for the last time for flipping on this host and calling him out and whatever, they finally get the test results. And then she goes, "You know what? No matter what this says in the envelope, I'm good." So I'm like, well, I basically said, I was like, well, bitch, bye. I
Mm,
was like, I'm not gonna. I'm For 22 years I've been there. No one sits up here and says, "Yo, that man stayed in that girl's life for 22 years without knowing." Shopping, Christmases, all that stuff. I got a video on my page that shows her as a little child with all her siblings that I have, all of them together. I'm like, if I wasn't in your life, what is this? If I wasn't in your life, what is that? Here's your birthday. Here's your ninth birthday. Here's your eighth birthday. Here's your 10th, 11th, 12th, on up. I'm like, tell me how that is. So in the back, she's saying that she's glad she's mine. And I'm like, yo, what was all that out there on that stage? Oh, mom and grandma told me if I didn't say that, they wasn't gonna come visit me and I couldn't come stay with them on the weekends if I didn't do that. And I'm like, yeah. I said, well, you just nationally embarrassed me on television. I said, so I ain't really got words for you. Because what you try to say privately that you couldn't say publicly, I ain't got no words for. And I said, and I would never do any of my children or my parents like that. And I said, and everybody in here at one point couldn't stand their mom or their dad, but understood that was their mom and their dad. And like, I can't, like, I got a sister. I don't like her. She owed me a ton of money. She's lied on me, did everything like that. But let a man put their hands on her. I'm gonna be the first brother to turn up to go to jail, and they know that. I'm like, so no matter how I feel about her, I'm still gonna be there for her. And I told her that. I said, I love you, and I'm glad this has finally got proven. I said, but I gotta step away from you for a hot one. I said, you go live your life, because if you feel that I'm all those things that you just said out there, there's no reason for you to even be talking to me now. And that was like straight up. And then who was it? Then I guess Mr. Brown had some choice words for me afterwards. He was like, "Let me tell you something." I was like, "Bro, when you talk to me, put bass in your voice. Number one." I said, I said I ain't got nothing against nobody being gay or nothing like that, because I got a gay niece and I got a sister that is now my brother. Okay, so I don't want to hear. I said it's not the community, it's you that I personally have a problem with. I said, because you knew all this before you came out. You're the promoter. You knew who was supposed to go over, but I changed that audible. You thought having me sip a little liquid courage in the back and all this other mess that I was gonna come out here and make a complete fool of myself. No, I came out here and spoke nothing but the truth while she stuttered. Like, everybody's looking at that classic line, like when I said to her, when I was like, "We know that's your mother." She's like, "Yeah." I said, "We know 100% that's your mom. There's no denying who's that's your mom." She was like, "Yeah, that's my mother." I said, "So tell me what your father's name is." And she just looked. And everybody was like, "Oh, you're wrong for saying that." No, that's the harsh truth and reality. That's my reality. If you a child, know a child's place. Don't try to bring me on TV. Don't try to bring me on TV and try to tell me I'm not a good father. When after that show aired, her brothers and sisters have been calling there like, "Nah, we got to clear the air about our dad." That nah, y'all not gonna talk bad about him. But will they bring him up on the show? No. I've had the show call me like, "Yeah, your kids have called and they want to come back up, but we're not sure if we can do that." I'm like, "Y'all can do it. Y'all just don't want to. Y'all don't made money off of me, off y'all little hits off of Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Y'all don't got y'all 80,000, 100 million views in like a week and a half. Y'all don't got that. Y'all making money." I said, "So y'all don't want to bring me back on because I'm going to flip on that host." "Oh, well, we need you to sign these papers if you do." Nah, I'm not doing that. Because they wanted me to sign, if I go back on there a second time, they wanted me to sign NDA saying that I won't embarrass the host. And I'm like, yeah, I'm from Brooklyn. I can't do that. We don't do that where I'm from. I'm like, I had this man question me as a parent, but I'm like, as a parent, anybody can go look up. You brought your son on your show to talk about how he OD'd in your house. I'm like, and another point that he tried to tell me, he's like, "Oh, I wasn't raised that talk about his parents saying his parents didn't raise him that way." And I was just like, hold on, wait a minute. I'm like, your parents didn't raise you that way. He's like, nah. I said, but in another video that you got out on YouTube, you talk about how you got mad at your son because your son said he was pansexual. I said, how do you get mad at a man for being pansexual when his daddy sucks? I'm like, how do you get mad at that? I'm like, that's like if you're gay, and I'm saying not saying there's a problem with that. How you gonna get mad if your son is?
Yeah.
So when he came out and said, and there's a video on YouTube where he says, I didn't know what he said when my son came out to me and told me he's pansexual and blah blah blah, which means anybody can get it basically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's
Yep.
like, I was upset, and I'm like, bro, you jump ship. I'm like, don't talk about your son and how you mad at him. I'm like, that's bad parenting. When my daughter first came out to me and telling me that she liked girls, I joked with it in a way that me and her bonded. She was like, "Dad, I want to talk to you about something really important to me." And I was like, "Did you wreck the car?" She was like, "No." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Did you break my Xbox or scratch up any of my games?" She was like, "No." I said, "Then okay, we cool. What's up?" She was like, "I like girls." I said, "Me too." She was like, "No, you don't understand." She's like, "I really like girls." I was like, Me too. She was like, no, Dad, you don't get it. I don't ever see myself marrying a man. I see myself marrying a woman. I said, shit, me too. So what's the problem? I'm gonna tell them that, and I told that person the same thing I would tell if a man was dating my daughter. I'm like, when she stops smiling, you'll stop breathing. That's how that goes. I'm like, I don't hate because I don't like a specific person that happens to be gay. That doesn't mean I hate everyone that is. It just means I got a specific problem with him. And he tried to make it like this whole that I hate a whole community full of people like him. And I'm like, I don't. I just don't like you. What have you done for your community? Well, I started a wrestling company. Um, I got this thing called EP. I got the EPW street team, which consists of kids between the ages of 5 and 13, where they hand out flyers and stuff for that to shows. They come to shows for free. If a name comes on the show, they get to meet the names. For birthdays, I give them pizza parties. And if they get straight A's, you know what I'm saying? I let them stay on the squad. If they fail, if they don't listen to their mom and their dad, you know what I'm saying? They're not allowed at shows. And they have to turn in their EPW shirt, and they're no longer part of the street team until they bring their grades up or until they're good in school. That's how I return back to my community. I ain't got the money to return back to my community, apparently, like you do. So you want to talk about dollars and cents. I ain't got the millions you got yet. But when I get it, I know what I'm going to do with it. I said, you're using, I said, I've watched, and I told him to his face, I said, I've watched a whole lot of clips of your show. You like to downgrade black men. You really do. Is it because your boyfriend's white? I don't know. I said, but you like to downgrade black men. And I looked at that like, bro, you brought me on your show to have two things said bad about me, that I supposedly took $3 and that I was left for a wrestling show. So out of 22 years, those two things are why I'm a bad father. I said, as a father, I've never had to tell my son, hey, son, guess what? What? Dad's kind of like your girlfriend. What do you mean? Well, yeah, I get bent over, but I don't. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, don't tell me. I think the only thing that he said that I agree with is that we parent different. I'm like, yeah, we do. I'm like, if you want to get into the biblical sense, I'm like, you gonna burn. I said, I don't really care about, you love who you love, no matter what color you are. Let me put that out there. I don't care if you're man and man, woman and woman, 3 men, 4 guys, 8 women. I don't care. But don't try to push your belief what or try to play inception with me by trying to put a thought in my head that I didn't think of, but you're trying to make me think that I think. I'm like, don't do that. And I had to check him. And that's how that show went down. And a lot of people have just been asking me point blank, what happened? I'm like, these talk shows are like wrestling. That host is the promoter, and he decide who goes over. Now you go watch a talk show, you're gonna see a host be for someone, and you're gonna be a host be trying to obliterate the other person. Because every question that I asked her, I got no response. Every question that she asked me, he doubled down on. He was like, yeah, Horace, why did you do this? Or yeah, Horace, why did you do that? And I'm like, hold up. Didn't I just ask her a question? Yeah, no, we're not on that. We're here now. And I'm like, oh. And it took me a second because I was upset to like realize it. So I was like, oh, okay, you're trying to play the since I got followers, if I see you as a bad person, 600,000 people will. And I'm like, that part right there is why it's like I won't go back on this show. And I've been asked to come back up on that show. I've been asked at least in the past month, maybe 2.5 months, at least 5 or 6 times. I'll get a call from them. He's saying he'll give you this much money. Ain't enough money to make me want to go back on TV and sell my soul for your ratings, for your daytime Emmy award that you will never get. I'm like, there's not enough money for that. There really isn't. And he can, and all he did was just brag about how much money he has and how much. I'm like, bro, if you die right now, how much of that is going in the casket with you? I'm like, ain't none of it going in the casket with you. And I'm gonna tell you the fourth reason why, and that's probably the right reason why I got escorted off for the fourth time, because I just blatantly told him, I said, we can't compare parenting. I said, because I come from a household of a mother and a father. I said, when your sons come to your house, there are 2 men. I said, okay. I said, so we can't compare apples to oranges in that situation, but you're trying to. I ain't got nothing against who you are and what you do, but don't try to tell me that you're a better parent than me when I can hit you with biblical scriptures and I can hit you with just knowledge of self that it don't go down like that. This is when security is already making their way to the stage because I'm setting it off on this man. And all that stuff was taped, but none of it will never make air. When y'all watched that whole show in its entirety, oh, I watched the whole show. I said, yeah, I bet you did. But do you know that this part is edited, that part is edited, and that when I first walked out there, I was calm and cool. Even tried to hug her, and she wouldn't give me a hug. But then at the end, they looking at her like, "Oh, she's your daughter. You're not gonna hug her." I'm like, "Yeah, come here, give me a hug. Okay, get off me. There's your fake ass hug for this fake ass show." And I said all that, and he was mad. My show ain't fake. I'm like, "Nigga, you fake."
Mm-hmm.
There was so much that got said on that show that got edited that my man was thinking about not even sending me home, but it was in the contract that he does that, so he had to. But then one of his stage hands tried to get loud with me, and I looked at him and I was like, "Boy, I will knock you the fuck out." And I said, "And Dana," I said, "and y'all only got like 2 security guards right here." I said, "Man, y'all better get more." I said, "Cause y'all don't know what y'all dealing with messing with me." And that's that show, and I left.
Damn, man, that is wild, man. Like to go through all that, in a situation like I'm gonna ask you this: do you regret going on the show to find out all those things that was going on? Do you regret that?
Yeah, I do because I haven't spoken to my daughter since that show was taped on October 10th of last year. I haven't spoken to her since then, and her birthday was just May 23rd. And though I reached out to her and I told her happy birthday, she hit me with the text back, "Who is this?" I was like, "Okay, we're gonna play that game. I'm not gonna stress it." I'm like, you again, she made a choice because as a child, you know what I'm saying? You can train a child in the way to go, but that child has to go that way.
Mm-hmm.
She made a choice that I'm gonna rock with my mom and her side dude and her husband. I'm not gonna rock with this man. That's clearly her choice. And I'm not even gonna be mad at her for making that choice. Cause you know what? You feel you grown enough to make that choice, fine. But when something hits the fan, don't dial me up because I'm gonna hit you with that same type of wording. I'm like, who is this?
And even all right, so even if she does do that, I'm just trying to look at it from from both sides, right? Even if she does do that, right? Let's just say she does that for certain, right? Even if she does do that, she could still have respect for her dad. Like I don't understand. Like it's only this generation that does this because I come from the generation of the old school, and me and Jay Styles was talking about this earlier before we started the interview. Like I come from the generation of old school, and like the one thing that we from our generation, from the 80s and up, what we learned is proper communication. The kids
Mm,
today don't have that type of communication. They don't have the right communication when it comes to the parents. They don't have the communication when it comes to the schooling. They don't have the communication when it comes to anything, period. So when they go out there into the public world and they're trying to navigate, they like a broken GPS. They don't know where to go. They like lost in the
exactly.
shuffle. And that's the problem. Like I'm saying, like me as a parent, I could never do that. Like I don't care what I have against my other half, right? I'm never going to tell you to go hate your father or your mother on everything. I don't look, whatever was going on with me and the moms, that's between me and her. They ain't got nothing to do. Like, I'm not going to promote you going against your pops. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to do that. Look, I grew up in a single parent home. You know what I'm saying? Like, I grew up in a single parent home. All I seen was my mother. My father was in and out of my life. You know what I mean? But she never taught me to hate my dad. When I got older and I learned about what was going on with my pops, I confronted him myself. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I confronted him myself and I aired out my frustrations with him on my own. She gave me the truth and I went with it how I seen fit. because she never pumped that hatred in me to go at him like that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And I'm telling you, and I want to say this to my women subscribers, all you guys, whatever you got going on with your significant other, don't ever be telling your children to go hate the dad. Don't do that. That's the worst thing you could do, because all you creating is this turmoil. And then when things hit the fan and they become older and they find out it's more than meets the eye, then what are you going to do to solve that? It's better for
Trust
you,
me.
huh?
I mean, trust. I know. I got, like I said, I got 8 kids. I got 6 baby moms.
Mm-hmm.
When it, when it came down to it, there were a few of my kids' moms that were always on that. You know, if you're not with me, or your daddy ain't this, your daddy ain't that. And at certain points in my kids' lives, they were like, like I had my oldest son. Me and him had a sit down when he was 16, and we were in the mall. And I sat down. And I said, "I know you got a lot of questions for me. Please ask them." He was like, "Why did you leave?" He said, "'Cause I'm hearing all these bad things about you." He said, "I don't want to believe it." I said, "What were you told?" I said, "Here's how it went." I said, "I was in a situation where I could not be with your mom." I said, "She was doing a lot of things I didn't like." I said, "And because I left that situation, I had to leave you." I said, "Now, I've been there your whole life." I said, "I've been to your football games." I said, "I brought you Christmas gifts." I said, "I bring your brothers to you. We celebrated so many birthdays with your other 2 brothers and whatever, from you being little on up to grown." I said, "Why your mother's still on this childish mess? I don't know." I said, "But don't let her destroy the relationship that me and you have." I said, "Because if you don't feel this, if I show you," I said, "because your mother's talking about the me in a relationship with her. She's talking about boyfriend Junior. She's not talking about father Junior. She's not talking about father Junior that, like, when she was living in Auburn and I was living in Syracuse, I jump on a bus, Greyhound, come to Auburn, get a hotel for 3 days just to see you for 10 minutes and give her $400. She doesn't talk to you about that Junior, do she? She talked to you about the Junior that she dated." I said, "Those are 2 different people. There's 2 different people between the father I am and the boyfriend that I was." I said, "What was me and your mother good together? Nah, we was toxic as hell. She cheated on me, I cheated on her." I said, we did that. It went back and forth until I just said, like, "Look, I'm only here for him." "Well, you gotta leave." I'm like, "Okay, well, realize this is my apartment and I'm leaving it." So I packed all my stuff up and I left. That's where he gets the, "You stole all the furniture." No, I bought all the furniture. Therefore, when I got another place, I took all my furniture back. Your mother said she can get dirt all by her lonely. I said, "Fine, let her go get it." Because I bought the living room, dining room, bedroom, TVs, PlayStations at the time, and GameCubes. I bought all that. I'm like, I was working for Chrysler. I was making at that time, making like $13, $14 an hour is like you about a millionaire at that point. Way back in like the early like 2000s and whatever. And I'm like, so when I left, I took all my stuff with me because she said she can replace everything. Has she? No. What did she do? She took me for child support. She got it, but then she gave custody to her parents of you, and then kept getting the child support where I was paying her rent because she has subsidized rent. So you're wondering where all this money's at. I'm like, look at your mom. She got it all. If she never gave it to you, they took it out my check. I'm working 40 hours a week to bring home a check that say 225. Like, so I get that when it comes to kids, but like you said, back in me and your day, they like I would get beatings from everybody in my family for something I did at home. I got suspended the day before the last day of school for telling my teacher I threw a crayon or some mess, and got home. Father beat me. Mother got home. Mother beat me. 2 months later, we taking a trip to Virginia to see my grandparents. Father tells my grandparents what I did. They beat me. I'm like, "Bro, we're in July. This happened in June." I'm like, "Why am I getting a beating for something that you and mom already beat me for?" And then what happened? Uncle Reggie and Aunt Annette show up. They tell them what happened. They beat me. I got a beating from everybody in my family over something. That's when I learned. I'm like, no more throwing crayons or talking back to the teacher because I got to get beat by every aunt and every uncle at every gathering. And then they was talking about, "Oh, Randy did this. What did my father do? My father beat Randy. Beat his beat his nephew. I'm like, Jesus, man. I'm like, is this how this family operate? We grew up different. Street light come on, we in the house.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Where $10 worth of gas got you $10 worth of gas, not 3.5674 liters. Like we came up different. We came up different where if we was beefing, we used to sell it 3 ways: breakdancing, freestyling, or fighting. And after the fight, everybody was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, it's just like, you go get in a fight. This man gonna go tell his friends that you jumped him when you didn't. So you got 8 people got in a problem with you over a lie that they man just told.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Yeah,
like, that's
I come from the era. I come from the era where they used to put the little pebble or the
on the
two by
shoulder.
four on the shoulder, knock your mama off the toilet, and then you square out. I come from that era. I come from the era where you going shoulder to shoulder like this, and then you sizing each other up at the same time before you start squaring up. That's the era I come from. I don't know what era this is. This era
And the
is
one
wild,
sideline
yo.
friend takes the hand and slaps the other person with it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I don't know
He's
what
like,
era
hit my
this is.
hand. That's from him. Yeah, we from that era.
Your mother, and that was a war.
Yo, saying your mother was like the highest form of disrespect back in the day. No one ever said your father. They always
Nope.
said your mother.
And my mother
They
just left my
always
house
said your
too, so
mother.
that's funny.
Shut the fuck.
Hey,
They were
Steve,
all,
that's why these youngest now stay on my mother. Because they know their father ran. They ain't going to swear on their father. Because they know Pop's going to dig into their behind. Mom might smack him upside the head or hit him with a frying pan. But Pop's going to go to the grill, to the chest, and to the rib cage, all they want.
man, I'm from that era where they told you go outside and get the switch that you got a beating with. You know what I'm
from
saying?
that
I'm
era
down
too,
there.
though. I'm from that era too. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I'm down in Whaleyville, Virginia. My grandmother's like, go out there to that bush and get me a twig. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what? Get a what? I'm like, so I go get the flimsiest stick. She's like, nah, you got to get one of them, like the ones that make that sound when you hit it. Like, you got to go get one of those.
Or
So
don't
she
let
would
them. Or not to cut you off, but don't let them go and say, "Oh, go to the other side of the house and get the ones with the thorns." That's even worse.
yeah.
Oh,
That's
Lord.
even
The
worse.
rose bush
Oh,
ones. Nah,
yeah, I know
what my
about that.
grandma would do, she would literally go get like 12, 13 of them shits and braid it like it was hair. I don't know if y'all grandmother used to do that, but she would braid it to that thing was about as thick as one of them big bites at 7-Eleven. That thing would be super
luckily for
thick.
me, though, my grandmother, God rest her soul, my father's mother, she wasn't from Richmond, but she was raised in Richmond. She was born in California, but when she moved and lived with her aunt and uncle in Richmond. By the time I came around the 70s, I ain't have to worry about that. The only time my grandmother ever disciplined me, fellas, she yelled at me. Now we in North Carolina on our way on a bus trip with my aunt's church to Florida, to Disney World. And I was, as a kid, you playing arcade games in the arcade, you ain't thinking about time. You thinking about beating the video game or getting as far as you can get. The bus ready to leave. We about to get left behind North Carolina. My grandmother chewed my butt out. That's the only time my grandmother ever chewed me out. So everything you said, Mr. E, and everything BARZ been saying, one thing about me, man, is like I understand that the name I was given, particularly the last name, is a representation. Kids today don't understand your name holds merit in society. You represent your culture of your family legacy, heritage, and roots. You disrespect that, you disrespect everybody that came before you.
And a lot of kids today don't get that. I watch these kids go out here and they trying to be like their favorite rapper and they want to do, well, XYZ did 5 years. I got 3. I'm like, and you proud of that? I'm like, bro, you trying to, I'm like, he's like, I'm representing my block. I'm like, the block you don't own, that when you get locked up, probably your man's and then one of them gonna go smash your kid's mom and gonna tell all the dirt that you ever did on you. I'm like, back in my day, I said we never did that. We never spoke to our man's girl unless they was present. I was like, we never did that. And if we went over their house and they wasn't home, we turned right back around and we went home. We call up there, if they go and pick up the phone, go, is such and such home? Nah, he not. But if you want to, nah, I call him when he there. Click. That's it. Nowadays, you calling your man girl like he home, like, nah, look, I ain't supposed to tell you this, but he was with that girl last night, and I think you real. It's different. It's different, and a lot of people don't get that. I'm like, that's why I keep to myself. I like every man in this room has probably been a player, had the 3-4 girlfriends or whatever. I'm like, I just turned 49 yesterday, and I'm thinking to myself like, man, I ain't got the energy, the time, nor patience to have more than one woman. I don't. I got I had a young girl tell me to like come to her house, and the first thing that went through my mind is, do I really want to waste the gas? That's
I feel you.
that.
I feel you. I feel you.
I'm like, do I really
At
want
50
to waste
years
the
old, I
gas?
share the same sentiment. I'm like, yo, I talk to women on the phone. I might entertain doing a meet and greet in person, after the FaceTime and all that. And after that meet and greet, the conversation is solid, but it's like, is it really worth investing further than what I got out of? Because, like, it
Exactly.
ain't even about going to bed with them. It's about what are you going to do for me mentally at this at this
and,
stage
and
of my
a lot
life.
and a lot of people don't get that because I'm that same way. Because a while ago, Shorty had sent me. She was like sent me pictures of her like in like revealing clothing and different poses and whatever. And then she's like, "What you think about that?" I'm like, "I'd rather see your credit score." I'm like, "Let's be real." I'm like, yeah, okay, you got a body and a pretty face and a thick waist. I'm like, okay, but can you go half one? Can we get our credit together and get this house? Can we get these cars? Can we vacation in Dubai? No. I'm like, you just want to bang. I'm like, I'm tired. Okay, I'm tired. I'm old. Only thing I want to do is play my Xbox and possibly eat chicken nuggets. You know what I'm saying? With some honey mustard dipping sauce. You all on this other stuff. It's not like I can't do it, but do I want to invest all that energy into you just for that all you for you to be? And I want you to be more. I'm like, back in the days, Shorty would call me. I'd be like way cross town. She on the south side. I'm on the west side. I gotta walk 2 hours, but I'm gonna walk because I'm thinking, yeah, I'm about to smash. But now it's like I got a car, and you 5 minutes up the road, and I'm like, I really don't want to waste the gas. I'm like, that's like $4 worth of gas, man. I gotta get to the grocery store tomorrow. I gotta go to Walmart. I'm like, I'm in my old man ways right now. I'm not in them. I'm not in them young man days no more. I'm in my old man ways. You know what I'm saying? Well, I actually sit and watch the news. When I was younger, I never watched it. Now I'm like, yo, what's up on CNN? What's going on in the world? Let me go. I did something real old school yesterday on my birthday. I went to 7-Eleven and I bought a newspaper. I bought an actual newspaper. Because I remember when I was younger, I used to do that, and I used to look at the help wanted, or job wanted help and whatever, and I used to like mark it and then call it and then be like exit. I'm like from that era. I'm not from this era of you got your resume online and you can send it to like 800 jobs with just a click of a button. I'm from an era where if you wanted a job, you either knew somebody that knew somebody, or you opened up that paper, you looked at the wanted ads, you seen, okay, wanted for this, wanted for that, wanted for this, wanted for that. Hey, I qualify for this. Let me circle. Let me call and see if I can get an interview. I'm from that era. These
Yep.
kids this era don't even if they lived in our era, half of them would either be in jail or dead, and they don't get that.
That's very
I feel
true.
you on that.
That's very true.
I remember the day. I remember the day when I applied for a job. When you remember before Capital One Bank was known as Chevy Chase Bank, Mr. E.
Yeah.
So I used to work for when it was Chevy Chase Bank, right? I remember I had to go to the headquarters in Bethesda, Maryland, Montgomery County, and do an interview and everything, and then take an assessment test on basic arithmetic skills, basic customer service skills, ace that, waiting for them to call me, tell me, congratulations, you passed the interview, you passed the assessment, now we're ready to hire you, to send you the offer letter and everything. Like you said, nowadays everything's just a click of a button. They don't even do face-to-face interviews anymore. Everything is either done over the phone or done through like Zoom or Teams or whatever, which is
Yeah.
fine. Which is fine. It's we in the technology industry era, so we got to adapt and evolve to the change of times. But sometimes the old ways are the best ways in some cases.
If I can take it back to like 85, I really wish I could. but I
No,
can't.
I won't go that
And
far back, though. I won't go back to when I was 10 years old. Maybe 90, 93, 15 to
oh
18. Take me to that
yeah,
area.
yeah. I tell everybody I was born in the '70s, raised in the '80s, ran through the '90s, and retired in the 2000s. I tell everybody that because like after the '90s, like all these chicks out here now, I look at them, I'll be like, y'all ain't got nothing on y'all mamas when she used to do that at Freaknik in Atlanta. I'm like, y'all just crazy. I'm like, y'all don't get it. Y'all women don't get it. I'm like, me and my friends are the original friends with benefits, and 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 and, uh,
Yes.
and that's what it was
Yes.
like in the '90s. Like I literally remember my best friend and me. We dated these two girls, and sometimes I would literally sleep with his girl, and he would sleep with mine, and we didn't care. I'm like, that's what's friends with benefits. I'm like, we started that. It just got a name in like 2000. We was doing this in
Yeah.
the '90s.
So
Everything we did in the '90s, everything they did in the '90s, they're doing now, except now it has a name. Before we just called it,
they just
you know,
they just messing up the
getting your
game. They
swerve
trying
on.
to reinvent the game. You don't reinvent the game.
You really
You
don't.
stop trying to reinvent the game. Let the game remain the game. You have to learn how to play by the rules of the game in order to come out on top and survive. This generation, they're trying to reinvent any and everything to their benefit, to benefit them solely for their own purpose. And it's sad. It's ridiculous. This entitlement era, this all about me era, it's wild.
That's
Yeah,
life.
yeah. So I want to switch topics now. And I want some more people to come up on the panel, and I really want to get started with the with some of the wrestling stuff. So my very first question for you is, and it just came up not too long ago, right? Did you hear about R-Truth leaving WWE?
I think that's a total work. I think this is my total opinion of that. I think that they're gonna do another Raw or SmackDown, and R-Truth is gonna be somewhere in the back, and they'd be like, "Didn't we fire you?" And then he just be like, "I don't know." I think it's gonna be a whole big game, and I think he's gonna just. I think they're just playing into it. Like I don't really think he was released. I think just like for to hype it up, that I think he'll do a retirement match against John Cena and win the title, and then be like, "Okay, I'm fired. I'm gonna take this belt home." Because with the whole thing with John Cena saying how he's going to take the belt home, the coolest storyline ever would be, okay, let's fire R-Truth. Let's have him do a few independent shows or whatever. Let's quietly keep him under contract, and then quietly have him come back and win the world title before he says, this is my farewell as well. And then let him go out with a bang like that. I think it's a total work. I think that's a total work.
Yeah, they said Sean Ross Sapp was the one that broke the news. It came from him, and he usually legit with whatever he reports. So it kind of makes me wonder. And then R-Truth put it on his Twitter account, Twitter X account, and stated that. You know what I think possibly could happen too? What you said is accurate too. But what I also think could possibly happen is that if it is a work, it goes under the radar, and he does work the promotions. He works TNA, right? He goes into TNA. He comes back as Ron the Truth Killings in TNA. He works a few matches on there. Then like he just does an all promotion thing, but the one promotion that he don't go to is AEW, and I think that will be the kicker to letting people know that he's probably still signed to the company because he ain't go to AEW yet. But if he goes to if he's really released, what I want to see is that if he's really, really, really released, if his contract really does expire, but he still decides to wrestle, I want to see him go to AEW. I want to see him in AEW. I want him to go back as Ron the Truth Killings, and I want to see what they could do for him over there. Because I feel that somebody like him could definitely work another like maybe 2 or 3 years solid and get himself a solid title run. Even if it's a mid card title, I think he could do any promotion justice just by the way he cuts promos, just by the way he wrestles in the ring, which is pretty crisp for his age. He's like 50, and he still
52.
can
55.
55, and he moving and
Mm-hmm.
moving and look like that. This dude
Mm-hmm.
drinking in the
Yeah.
fountain of youth. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely
Yeah.
could see him doing something like that. Yeah.
People don't understand. Our Truth has worked in every. He worked in WCW. He worked in TNA when it was NWA TNA. He worked in WWF. Then E. I'm like, he's a journeyman. He's what? He was the first ever black NWA TNA world champion. You know what I'm saying? He beat Ken Shamrock. Not too many people can say they beat Ken Shamrock. Not too many people can
True.
say that. He I remember watching wrestling when R2 first showed up in WWF as K Quick with the Road Dog, and he was like, "You shouldn't be in the ring wrestling. You should be scrapping. You need to grab the microphone and start rapping and getting rowdy and moving some things." And then that busted out, and did I just see the wrestling version of Kid and Play? I'm like, what is going on?
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy because like when I first seen that, and he was like getting rowdy, he's gonna move some things, we're gonna move some things. I was like, okay, I can dig this. All right.
Mm-hmm. I think he was. Hold on. Yeah, I
Mute.
think. Yeah. I just try to fix it. All right. I think he was one of the very first people that was getting people incorporated in the WWE universe to what rap and wrestling could look like in WWE, because they've tried to do it so many times and it's always looked cheesy. But with our truth, I think the merger with rap, with hip hop and wrestling and WWE was kind of cool with him because he could rap. He did come from the hip hop background. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't saying he like top 5 best lyricists, but before he became a wrestler, he was a rapper. He was out there in the streets too. Like if y'all look up his documentary on YouTube, dude was legit. Dude was a real one,
Dude hung
and
out with Tupac and all them.
mm-hmm, he was out
Yeah,
there.
he
He was
almost got signed. He almost
yeah
got signed by 2 labels at the same time. But that's when
Yeah.
he got caught up in that robbery that put him away for like 3 to 5 years.
yeah he was out. Raw Truth is a real one. Don't get it twisted, cause y'all see
Hell
him
nah.
out there what y'all calling talking. He's cooning and whatever. Don't get it twisted. Like he doing that.
Ron Simmons will bust your ass.
Yep. Yeah, he was definitely a real one. When I looked at that documentary, I was like, oh yeah, this dude's from the old school era. Like this guy is not somebody to play with. You know what I'm saying? He
That
definitely a
man got
real one.
pictures with He got pictures with what Tupac, Easy E.
Hmm.
Like I was like, yo, he was keep playing. Ron was about that life. Ron is like MC Hammer. Everybody used to make fun of MC Hammer when he was like pumps in the where he was like, you got to pray just to make it today, and then he switched from that gospel kind of rap thing he was doing to pumps and the rumps. We want the girls with the come. I'm like, Hammer will run up on you. And I watched this MTV thing where Hammer was talking about how Redman had said something about his mother or something like that. This was a while
Yeah, I
ago.
saw that too.
And,
Hmm.
and then he said Hammer walked up to Redman and was like, let me tell you something, young fella. Where I'm from, we don't play when we talk about other people's mothers. But I'm going to go ahead and let you know calmly, you do that again, we going to have a problem. Redman was like, yes, sir, Mr. Hammer, sir. I was like, yeah, don't play. Don't play with Ron Truth. He'll tell you the truth after he beat you.
Yep, that's why, and I think that's exactly why, regardless of what people outside of in the wrestling community say, I think that's why he's so well respected around the globe as far as wrestling, is because he is a real one. He is a journeyman, and he's been able to do it for so many years, and it's like he hasn't been injured that much neither. Let's be for real, he hasn't been injured that much
Nah.
because there was a time where he was super active in the ring. Like I know now he's kind of winding down, but there was a time where he was like super duper active. Like he was like literally on TV almost every day in WWE, especially when he had the run with the Miz. Like
Yeah.
that was one of the best runs I've seen him in. Even though it was a tag team run, that was one of the best runs I've seen him in because this guy could do just about everything. So you know what I mean? But But yeah, so I'm gonna ask one more question, and then I'm gonna let the panel ask you a few questions. So the
Okay.
next question is, right? Let's just say you was in your prime. You was in your prime, and you decided to make a comeback in professional wrestling, and everybody on God's green earth was hitting you up, from WWE to AEW to TNA to MLW, all across the board. What promotion would fit your character the best right now?
Wow. I actually I I'm probably gonna get a lot of gripe for this because I didn't jump off the back and say, "Oh, definitely WWE." But no, I really feel that TNA would probably be the best destination for me. I really feel that TNA would let me come in and be me, even though I'm not saying AEW wouldn't, but like in my opinion, AEW is like oversaturated with different people, and you got like 12 different storylines running around one person and five other people. I don't know. Like that's why they bought Ring of Honor, because whatever garbage they're not going to put on AEW, in my opinion, and Ring of Honor is a strong company, because had they not been bought by Tony Khan, I would say Ring of Honor for sure. I would definitely say Ring of Honor. That is my strong number one. Is Ring of
Mm-hmm.
Honor, not WWE and not AEW. It would definitely be Ring of Honor. But under the tutelage of Tony Khan, I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna hit TNA, and it's not because they're working with WWE, but it's basically because I feel that I would like strive more there.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course you got the NXT, with like it, it's just weird because like I would literally think that I would be more suited in in a TNA environment than I would a WWE one.
Oh, okay. Okay. So as people start filling up on the panel, does anybody on the panel got any questions for Mr. Entertainment? We could start off with Jay Styles.
Yeah, I got a few questions. To go back on the our truth. Um, Also, what do you think about Carlito? 'Cause shortly after our truth made his announcement, Carlito made his after the night before winning the WWC World Championship, which is really his promotion that his father started. And he won the championship for I think it's like a fourth or fifth time. How do you feel about hearing that Carlito announced he's no longer coming back to WWE after his contract expired?
I think that at one point WWE, because like and this is a saying in the business, you can make money or you can make friends, and I think that some of these guys that were good and responsible with their money know that they got the money now. Know that their first time around when they were with the company, they probably squandered the money not knowing how long they was going to be there. But then when they came back a second time, like Carlito, what I'm saying? He's like, all right, I know what to do with this money now. I know what to put it into now. And I don't need this machine behind me anymore because now I'm running this. So I kind of feel that like he won't come back. I mean, when he originally showed up, big pop. But then what happened? He got negated to like just working backstage stuff, getting speared out of the life out of him by Braun Breaker twice.
Mm-hmm.
He was literally turning into our truth, if you think about it. He
Yeah,
was just that comedic. He was that comedic side of it. So he probably didn't want that for his gimmick. So he's just like, look, I just won this world title over here. My contract's up. I'm out. He's like, unless the WWE puts a title on me, I don't see myself resigning. And if they know that he's not going to resign, what's the sense of that? So let him play out his last days, do a little storyline where, the Judgment Day beat him up and kick him out, and he can go about his business. But I'm thinking he's at that age right now where he's just like, look, this is where I want to be at. Unless y'all buy my dad's promotion, I don't see me messing with you. And the way the WWE is right now, if you are a top upcoming company in this world, they got their finger in your door. They got you with these WWIDs, they got the finger in the door. You'll start up a company and it'll do like 1,500, 2,500 people. They'll be like, oh, okay, they're making raves. Let's see where they're at next year. Next year, you're doing 15, 20,000. WWE gonna knock at your door and be like, "Hey, this is what we want to do. You gonna say no?" I think at a certain point, if WWE wanted to, it can open up a Fed on each continent. We can get one in Canada. We can get one in the UK. We can get one in Japan. We can get one in Africa. We can get one in Brazil. We can get one wherever they want to really go. They've already done, how many shows have they done over in like Crown Jewel? Like, how many shows have they done over there? Like I think like 5 or 6.
Mm-hmm.
You think they can't go over there and start an NXT or a WWE Pakistan or whatever over there? They can. And you over there with, I think the cheapest person over there is worth $3 billion. Okay, so you over there where they got oil that they sell to the Americans. They paid Vince, I don't know, $4 billion to come do a show over there, and my man just said write a check. And Vince was like, it's good, and they was over there. You know what I'm saying? Let's
Yeah,
build a
that's
crown
true.
jewel. Let's build a crown jewel championship, and then give him. And then after they win the championship, let's give him a ring. You know they're not stupid.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
That's true. Yeah.
My second question, Mr. East, is to you concerning it's just wrestlers who have like 10, 15, 20 years of experience, and particularly between like I hate to say WWE again, but I'm gonna use them as a prime example. The Legends contract. Do you think promotions that can afford a Legends contract for their homegrown talent, if you will, is it benefiting for pro wrestling, or is it kind of like more of a gimmick to attraction to keep the nostalgic fans interested in the company as a whole?
that's like a double-edged sword in my opinion, really, because it's like you want to keep their relevancy and their legacy alive, and you want to stop them from doing like these little small venues where some of them have actually done WrestleManias, but now they're like negated down to like doing like gyms and making appearances at gyms just to make an extra like 3 or 4 or 5, maybe like 1,000 to maybe like $2,500, just to keep things fed. I think the Legends contract is good because they, feed them, pay their ways and all that other stuff, and it keeps a good amount of money coming to them. I think they're good, but like at the bad side of the spectrum, it's like 90% of like the wrestling fans today don't know who they are, but your father or your older siblings may know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
When my son first started, my son who's 20 years old started watching wrestling. Like, well, he's watched it all his life, but like when he was 10 and 11, and we're like watching wrestling, and then like Hulk Hogan pops up and Ultimate Warrior pops up, and he's like, "Dad, who are they?" I'm like, "Those are guys from my era." You know what I'm saying? Those are like the golden age guys of my era. Then he started Googling them. He's like, "Man, Dad, this is what the '80s crowd looked like. This is what WrestleMania 1 and 2 looked like." Blah blah blah. I was like, "Yeah." So it's like, and then he's like, Batista would beat the heck out of the Ultimate Warrior. He's like, Triple H and da 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 da. And I'm like, you're trying to hold the nostalgic area for these older like veterans, and I respect them for it, because a lot of these veterans, they literally got to go to these like Walmart signings and these Comic Cons in order to get money to see if anyone does remember them. So it's like I said, it's a double-edged sword, because certain people are gonna remember them. Like I'm 49, I can remember them. I can go back to matches that they had. I remember them. But my 20-year-old, he's just gonna be like, I heard of you. You're no AJ Styles, or you're no this, or you're no that, but I heard you were good in your day. So it's like, it's a double-edged sword for me.
My last question for you is: you mentioned earlier with BARZ, you started in wrestling school, and just you have your eyes on certain uh, fellow indie wrestlers. You also have your ears to the ground. What is your aspirational goal for your school after after you really get it started from the ground up? What's the 5 year plan for the school?
Well, funny thing about that is I had the school before. I started the school actually in 2016, but when the whole COVID thing happened in 2020, that's when everything kind of like shut down. I couldn't train because you wasn't allowed to be within 6 feet, and you can't touch the person because you don't know. So I'm like, how am I going to train you if I can't show you and demonstrate on you how it goes? We can't put on shows because what? We got to pay a certain amount to disinfect an arena for people to come in, for them to sit 6 feet apart. And a lot of people don't understand. When you were a promoter and that happened, New York State Athletic Commission was like, okay, you can only have an XYZ amount of people at a show. How many people can you have at a show? You can have 100. 100 people at a show? When at that time I was used to getting 1,500, 2,500. I'm like, so you telling me I got to lose money in order to put on a show? And I'm like, that's why a lot of indie wrestling companies went under. I can't say mine's went under. Mine's just went dormant. My aspiration this time around is that I know what I want to see. And with the training, I already got some students that were returning that, that had started training before it got shut down. And they're like, yo, if you reopen, I'm right back in it. So it's like, I know what I want to aspire to do. It's just getting there. I got the vision and I got the focus. Now it's like I gotta make whatever I got in my head, I gotta bring it out into reality. Because wrestling, I tell anybody that will invest $12, $13 in a wrestling ring and in the venue, you know what I'm saying? Is it worth it? It depends. If you know what you're doing, it's always gonna be worth it. If you don't know what you're doing, it's gonna suck. And that's how that goes. Because my phone is ringing, but I'm not gonna take it. But that's how it goes. Because like I've seen a lot of companies put on one show, and the show did good, but it was one of those one-offs where the promoter just wanted the money, and this is like, bam, I'll do it again next year. I watched the Fed go from putting on a show once every 4 months to now doing shows every month. If you believe in something, keep fighting it. Because, like, trust me, you're going to have haters, doubters, and people that are going to talk about you. But as they say in the business, if you ain't being talked about, whether it's good or bad, then you're doing something wrong.
Okay. So, one of my next questions is, who is your wrestling GOAT of today? Of today, right now, as we speak. Because I know you've been analyzing the climate as far as professional wrestling right now. So like, who is your wrestling GOAT right now? Right now in today's wrestling, who is your GOAT?
Like, who do I feel is going to be a GOAT? Who do I feel is a GOAT right now?
A GOAT right now.
Oh, man. I hate to say it, even though the kid is mad young, but I see nothing but like potential in everything that he's doing. Is my man down in NXT, Javon Evans. That kid is a goat. And the fact that he's only like 22 or 23, all he's got is time to like perfect that craft and get it better. That's all he's got.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like half these people coming into NXT that are in their 30s, entering their 40s. I'm like, my man's got a whole 10 years of perfection ahead of him.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
I
you
gotta say, right now, he's my GOAT.
and you know what's crazy? And you know what's crazy too? When he made his main roster debut is that he's actually main roster ready already. It's just that they need him in NXT because he's one of the rising stars in NXT and he's must see TV on NXT. So they need him on that brand. He could easily get called up. You see, he can handle himself on the main roster. What he did on SmackDown was phenomenal. Him and Ray
Yeah,
Phoenix was cooking. I was like, what? I didn't even, it was unexpected to see him on the main roster for one, because it's not like they advertised this. I didn't see it on no posters or nothing on the internet, so I didn't know. And then all of a sudden I'm watching SmackDown, Javon Evans come out. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh snap! Like this is gonna be something unique, and he did his thing. And not to mention, he's gonna be on the Worlds Collide event.
yeah.
So this is dope. Like I'm liking what
I
Javon
gotta
Evans is doing.
say, I gotta say, I really hope they don't bring him up. Is he ready? Yes, but we have seen so many people in that position where they're the hottest thing, then get to the main roster and fizzle out, or they get to the roster and they have a good like 3-4 months and then fizzle out. I watch guys like Apollo Crews, and I'm like, if Apollo Crews would have stayed in NXT, he would have been the NXT champion. He would have been a good one. But he got the call up because he had the look. I'm like, stop looking at the look and look at the talent. Yeah, everybody want to see a big muscular man, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But Javon, I'm like, leave that man in NXT. Get that man like the North American titles or the tag titles or whatever the case may be. I said, but leave that man in NXT for another like 2 years. Then bring him up. Don't do that. Don't Carmelo Anthony him. You know what I'm saying? I mean Hayes, excuse me, Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Anthony played for the Knicks. I'm sorry, I'm getting lost here with names. But I'm like, do not mellow him. Do not do that Carmelo Hayes with him. Don't bring him up saying he's him. Now him is now a them, and the them is now a us. And it Ms. Mello, what is that? What is that?
Uh, Mellow. I don't know what the old saying
Mellow
they
Miz
got.
don't miss.
Mello
Yeah,
don't miss.
Mellow don't miss.
Miz.
Yeah, or something like this, something like that. Yeah.
It's crazy because I'm like, Mello was good. Mello turned around and he won. Not only did he win the North American title when Swerve left, but then he turned and fouled and he got the cruiserweight title that then got retired after that. Then turned around and got the NXT title. And I was like, that's okay. That's a trifecta. He got them all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, but now, where is he at on the roster? Catering. And they put him with the Miz. The Miz is like, it's like the Yoda over there. It's like, we're gonna stick you with Miz, and he's gonna try to bring more of this out of you so we can send you by yourself. But I'm like, sometimes being with the Miz is not the answer. I'm like, but that's just my. I hope they never send. If I had my way, I wouldn't bring Javon Evans up until like 2028.
So you would keep him. You would keep him down there for like another 2-3 years.
Basically, it is not because he's not good enough to be on the main roster. It's just that I would feel that in that 3 year span, he will become undeniably the face of NXT. Now, Trick Williams, we all know Trick Willie is a Booker T guy. Let's not act like he's not. We saw the Trickaroonie during the match and whatever when he won that shit. But like, you gotta understand, Trick was with Mello for like 2 or 3 years before he even got in the ring once, which means that man trained for 3, and Trick is like 30 right now. So that means he spent a good majority of his youth just training to where he's at now. Whereas though Javon Evans spent like his teenage years training to be where he's at now. So you give Javon like 3 more years of that little seasoning Shawn Michaels got down there, the boy will be good. He'll be great. He's already a GOAT. He's the OG.
Mm-hmm.
I can't argue with that.
Nah, neither
I,
can
I do have I do have an idea in my mind outside of Evans. He's not even in WWE or NXT. I'm looking at Nick Wayne over in AEW as a contender for GOAT currently. That's a contender. GOAT actually, if it wasn't barring injuries for him, Hook. Hook has a lot of potential to be a GOAT.
See, that's what I mean by like people that start off hot but then fizzle out. Like Hook, when Hook first showed up, everybody wanted Hook. Everybody wanted Hook. They wanted Hook so bad that they wanted to put the TNT title on him from I think Cody was holding it at the time. And then they brought back his dad FTW championship just for that boy to wear it. I'm like, that's what I mean with AEW, that they got stars, but they don't know, they're legitimate, don't know how to keep them going, keep the crowd behind them. Because like, it seems that everybody that has been a former AEW heavyweight champion over there somehow forms a tag team or a trio. I don't know if anybody noticed that. Like, once you wear the AEW title, it's like, let's stick them in a tag team, because that's when they stuck Shibata, Hook, and Samoa Joe together. I'm like, and Joe just came off of losing the AEW title. And I'm like, why don't they give these guys rematches? Why is it that you hold the title once, no rematch? I'm like, I don't get that. But they're starting to see that Swerve is the future, so they about to put Swerve back up in that mix. But I gotta say, Hook is good, but like you gotta put him in the right surroundings. It's like he's got all the tools, he's got all the talent. Look at who his father is, for God's sake. But then it's like if you're not, it's like you can have the finest car in the world, but if you put the wrong gas in it, it's not gonna run.
Yeah, I agree with you. I definitely agree with you on that. Welcome to the live high spots. Welcome to the live. We're doing a open panel right now for. I just got finished interviewing Mr. Entertainment, who is a former professional wrestler, a journeyman, a former champion, and all the above. And we had just been asking him questions and all type stuff. So I want to give you a chance to ask him any question that comes to your mind. You're new to the live, so I want to give you that opportunity to ask him any questions as we run it through. So the floor is yours if you would like to ask Mr. Entertainment any questions wrestling wise.
Oh, cool, cool, cool. What's going on, man? Hey, real quick, I've been with you. I've been with you a couple times. I just changed my name.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't know. I didn't know. I
Yeah,
thought
no
somebody
worries.
knew. Yeah.
No, no,
Okay.
no worries. Hey, man, what, Mr. Entertainment, what promotion did you wrestle for? Indie
Um,
scene?
Indie scene of dang, there's so many. There's ECPW. There at one point out in Rochester it was NEW, which is Next Era Wrestling. I've done NWA Upstate. I've been out in Bennington, Vermont at In Your Face Wrestling. Also did Wild World of Wrestling. Uh what else? There's I did EPW in Toma, Wisconsin. I've been overseas in the UK with my friend PD Stanforth, ran Power Trip Wrestling. Um there's just I can't. Everything is either a PW or CW or EW or AW. So it's like I've done that. I've done the alphabet in what is called that. So
Yeah,
and like I've done UWA, which turned into one of upstate New York's biggest companies, which was called 2CW or Squared Circle Wrestling. And how they went under, I don't know, because they was putting on like $100,000 shows. They had guys like the Young Bucks,
dang.
AJ Styles, and the Dudleys all on the same show, and I know they cost money.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, so it's
Ooh,
like
sorry.
I've
Wow,
what's
sorry,
that?
guys. I was
Okay,
sneezing.
no. So I've done a lot, and I've seen a lot and been in a few places. But
Oh, man, that's awesome. Ah, cool, cool. Are we at the front part of the live or are we at the back end?
Well, really, we at the back end of the live, but the floor is open for you to ask him anything you want, though. Like we had just we did the interview early, so the first 30 minutes, 35 minutes was just the interview and everything like that, and then we opened the floor after that. So Jay Styles asked him some questions, I asked him some questions, but I could always ask him questions. I just wanted to give the floor open to the panel to ask him
Yeah, yeah.
whatever they want. Yeah.
Cool. Man, I don't have a lot of questions. I typically like to keep quiet and just listen and learn. Who um who was your favorite match of all time that you wrestled yourself?
I gotta say my best match was with against Too Cold Scorpio, and it wasn't that the match was even good because halfway through the match I dislocated my shoulder. Um, and he was like, "Yo, kid, let's just wrap this up." I said, "You are my idol." I I said, "You don't understand." I remember the get the stepping thing for WCW and everybody riding in the limousine. That was like a kid's dream back then. I said, "Bro, if I let this match end right now, I will never ever respect myself." And we went and we did another like 10 or 15 minutes because I dislocated my shoulder like 3 minutes into the match.
Oh, yeah, go
Because in the match, we were basically just going blow for blow. we was talking about like a lot of stuff, and I was like, I'm like, I basically got my name Mr. Entertainment from you when you was like doing all the like dancing and all that stuff. People didn't understand that was entertaining, and we just talked about a lot of stuff. How we got the same amount of kids and kids' moms, like we talked about a lot of stuff, and in the match, I was supposed to do a backflip, and I was supposed to jump off the middle rope and do a backflip. The middle ropes on that ring were loose as all hell. So it's like when I jumped on it, the rope like went in as if you were like it was like a bow and arrow, and that was the arrow. The rope went in, and I'm jumping back, and I'm twirling my arms, and I pulled my own arm out of the socket.
Mm.
And the fact that like the match is on YouTube, and you can see where it comes out, and half the match, or the rest of the match after that, there's a big bulge in my shoulder. And this man is like, bro, we can't do another 15. I said, man, we got to. If we don't, bro, I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to go home. I'm like, I can't go
Mm.
home and tell my sons I got to wrestle my idol, and it was completely like a garbage match that lasted like 4 minutes. He's like, okay, let's do this. I'm like, let's do it. And he was like, I'm gonna hit you, hit me back as hard as I hit you. He said, I'm too old. If I can't feel the punch, I'm not gonna sell it. I'm like, okay, here we go. I
Bound
punched
from
him one
love.
good hard time. I hit him one good hard time with a forearm, and what he do? He turned around and elbowed me in the bad dislocated shoulder. I was like, this mother. He's like, I know it. He's bending down. I know it hurt. He said, but it's gonna look good. Everybody's like, he hurt that shoulder. I'm like, I know I hurt it, but after a while, the shoulder went numb, and we finished the match. So I gotta say, he's like the best match I've ever had. Just because you know, at that time, it's like imagine being in like basketball or football, baseball, whatever, and or hockey, and you get somebody saying, "Hey, Wayne Gretzky wants you to get on the ice with him," or "Hey, yo, Jordan said throw him an alley oop," or "Hey, yo, Randy Moss wants you to throw him a touchdown pass." Like you gonna say no?
Yeah, for real.
No, it's like you not gonna say no. And even though he wanted to end that thing 3 minutes into it, I was just like, can't do it. After the match, I went in the back. They had this like ice sleeve on it. He walked up to me. He took my hand and took my shoulder, popped my shoulder back in place. I said, "Bro, you could have did that during the match." He was like, "Nah, you was getting too good out there. I needed you at a handicap." I was like, "Bruh, that's probably one of my favorite matches."
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. What somebody if somebody were trying to break into to the wrestling business, what's a good piece of advice you'd have for them starting out, whether it's money, attitude, mentality, like whatever it is.
Always, I gotta say, humble yourself. Just listen. It's like everybody here has went to school or has gone to a school like for carpentry, seam masonry, or whatever. You enroll in schools to learn a specific trade and craft. Depending on how well you learn, will depend on how good the house you build turns out. Will it fall apart when you put it up, or is it going to stay sturdy and other people are going to want you to start building theirs? Like, yo, I like the way this kid did this. I need him to help me do this. I need him to help me do that. If I tell anybody, if you're starting out, if you want to be a wrestler, you're not going to be a wrestler when you first get there. You're gonna be security. You're gonna be the ring crew. You're gonna be the referee if needed. You're gonna be everything before you ever step in that ring. So always listen. If I tell anybody anything else, just listen. And never think you're above the person that you're speaking to. Because I keep myself at a playing field when I train people. I try to bring out what I know they can do. I've been in situations where I had to look at people and be like, yo, maybe we should, wrestling isn't for you, but you know, you got a great speaking voice. You ever thought about being a manager, an announcer? You have a lot of wrestling knowledge. Why don't you be a backstage analyst, reporter, whatever the case may be? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, because I don't see you doing this and I don't want to put you out there and you get hurt. So never take when someone tells you they don't think you're ready for it. Bad. Because some people tell you that just to wake you up. Just to basically wake you up and be like, look, I don't think this is for you. If you ready, especially the ones that are always ready to quit, like just because they can't do a move, And I've had so many kids do that. And I'm like, they be like, I can't do this. I'm gonna quit. I'm like, why? Well, I want to do this, this, and this. I'm like, you want to do all those things, to someone else, but you can't take the move yourself. No, then you're right. I think you need to leave.
Oh,
I've had kids come up to me and be like, I want to be like, you know, Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles, and a little bit of Kenny Omega. I'm like, do I look like a chef? I'm like, so you want me to go to these people, get like strands of their hair, make some chemical that you can drink to have their talent? It don't work like that. Those men perfected their crafts. This is not a a, excuse me, a WWE video game where you go in there and you create a wrestler that you think is you. You don't. They got a 300 and 500 move list for everything that you're gonna do. I can't go on that move list, take it off the screen, and put it in you and say now you know it. You got to work hard at your craft to get it done. This and so many people have, like, so many students of mine have done that. I want to be this. Why don't you want to be the first you? Don't be the next. Be the first. I understand that everybody in this room idolizes a wrestler. I idolize wrestlers, but I understand that I gotta go my own way when it comes to who I'm going to be. Because no one wants to see, as Shawn Michaels say, when he said it to Seth Rollins, no one wants to see a second Shawn Michaels in the making. No, because the first one is OG.
hmm.
So
Yep.
if you ever decide that you really want to get into training and you really want to do that, know in your mind what you want to do, and know what your gimmick is. Your gimmick may not fit you, because even though I told the story of, like, when I first started wrestling, I was called the Black Manis. I did not want to be called the Black Manis. I didn't. I did. Even though I thought it was all cool representing the 36 chambers of Shaolin, I thought that was dope that they added that in there. But I actually wanted to call myself the Cruiserweight Monster Rage. That's what I wanted to call myself. Rage. Already had my background and what do you call it? My catch slogan. Catch slogan was gonna be, "Can you feel it? It's inside us all." Rage. Even went and got rage tattooed on my arm just to turn around and get called the Black Manish. Think about it. You ain't gonna be what you think you want to be when you walk in there. You ain't gonna be the gimmick you want to be. You ain't gonna have the color scheme you gonna want, because the promoter or the trainer is gonna look at you and be like, "What do you want to call yourself?" No. This is your name. This is your gimmick. Why? Because you don't live up to the name that you just said. So we're gonna give you this, and then you're gonna work your way into this. So don't ever think that when you walk in and be like, "Oh, I want to call myself Big Boy Davy." They be like, "Nah, your new name is Little Jimmy." And they will do that. And don't think that you can, like, outsmart a promoter or anything and be like, "Well, I'll go over here. They'll let me use that name," because that promoter will be like, "Yeah, go over there." You'll still be Little Jimmy. You still won't do this. So if you decide that you want to get in it, go for it. I'll never discourage anybody not to go for it, because I respect any man or any woman that will step into a ring and put their body on the line just to entertain someone else. So if you feel that you, like, really want to do it and you're thinking, "Oh man, I'm so old. I am 49 years old. Just turned 49 yesterday. I got people still asking me to show up and do shows. Can you still go?" Yeah, I can still go sit my black ass down and watch. I ain't getting in that ring. I'm like, that's what I'm gonna do. I mean, if I really wanted to, yeah, I can get in the ring and I can still train and I can still do all that other stuff. But I'm at the point in my life where I'm just like, you know what? I'm happy and content in my career, whether I became a big megastar or just a local guy that people recognize in the supermarket. I'm good.
Very good. Yeah. Very good.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. I just invited somebody else on the panel. Um, you're familiar with Mr. Entertainment already, so I was reading the comment section, so I don't gotta ask you to introduce yourself as far as to him. But do you have any
You know
questions
what?
for him?
I do know who that is. I've actually been in the same place where she's been at, where she's
Mhm.
done wrestling shows. It was Putnam, Connecticut, at that at that little bar down there in Putnam. It was right down the street from my house. I remember that, and that's when you were Nicole Talia,
Yeah.
and you was the women's heavyweight champion there,
Yeah.
and I know her. Yeah,
Yeah. Now my name's Nashoba Nada. I had to change it sadly, but
yeah, yeah. Because the gimmick always changes. I seen the new eye thing that you did. And I saw that like the one video that I saw. I was like, what happened to her eye? And I thought, oh yeah, that's gimmick. That's gimmick. Never mind.
yeah. Well, I had to change my name because of I don't know if you're familiar with what happened in the past with my trainer, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that whole situation, he trademarked my Nakoma name, so I had to change it so he wouldn't have control on me anymore and mess with me after what he did.
That's
That's why
and
I changed my name.
I gotta say, this is probably one of the coolest women I've ever met in wrestling. Like I said, like the first like I said, the first time I ever met her, I started following her on TikTok like years ago because this is like we got to go back like 4 years, 4 or 5 years.
Something like that, yeah.
When I was out there in Connecticut, and at the time the chick I was dating was like so jealous of this woman because like she walked. I'm telling the truth. She walked in and she seen me. Wrestlers always hug, male or female. We always hug. It's That's just our thing,
Yeah.
right? So she seen me hug her, and she was like, "Yo, you want her, don't you?" I was like, "Okay." One thing you don't want to do in the wrestling business is date another wrestler because they know all your tricks. So you can't do that. So that's not going to happen.
Hmm.
And I was like, that's why I've never dated anyone in the business. I said, me and her are always going to be cool. That's my little sis. Mess
Yeah.
with her, you mess with the locker room. That's how it goes.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're all brother and sister in there, and we all got each other's backs and stuff like that. Strictly
Pretty
business.
much. But she was simply just very, very, very green eyed when it came to you. She'd be like, because like when I came back down, because like I think that day was actually, I think it was like March something, because it was my son's birthday and I had to leave. And I couldn't bring him in because you had to be over 21 because y'all were doing the show at the bar. And he had
Oh,
just turned 17, I do believe. And I was like, I will, but I came up there and I peeped your match. I made sure I was there for your match. But but no, she is probably one of the most well traveled and seasoned female wrestlers I know.
thank you. I really
I
appreciate that.
You
Well,
did MLW, didn't you?
I was an extra on WWE, yeah, and I've done
Yes,
some of
yeah.
the Topolsky seminars and stuff too, which was a great experience as well.
Well, I definitely gotta get you on the show then, so we could chat, so we could ask questions and pick your brain as far as whatever. Because that's interesting. That's very interesting. Yeah, I
Thank
definitely
you.
want to hear your stories for sure. We gotta set
I
something
got
up for
plenty of
sure.
them.
Huh?
And let me say this. Let me say this. There's a really big difference between training a male and training a female. And she can only tell you the female aspect of it. And I'm trying to tell you there's like big differences because when I was gonna open my school in Connecticut and I was talking to her about no, when I was opening my school in Connecticut, I was asking her and I'm like, yo, if you want to come down and train the females, because at this time a whole lot of mess was going on with like male promoters or male wrestlers and female like students of female wrestlers. And I was like, will you come down and like train these like female wrestlers for me? I said, because I'm not about to catch a charge. I'm like, from one, because like at that time, that's what was going on. There was a lot of like BS going around with like, if females came and worked for like male promoters, there was like, I can pay you X, Y, Z, but you got to give me A, B, and C.
Yep.
And there was so much of that going on that I was just like, I don't want to get caught up in that hype and lose my license and be sued for my ring. So I looked at her and I was like, yo, when I open this up, if you can come down and train these female students, I'm like, you will get very well compensated. I'm like, because I don't want to do it. At that point in my life, I was scared to be a promoter.
Hmm.
I was like, I can't train females. They was like, why? I said, because I had this thing where I was like, I don't train females. I train wrestlers, which means I'm going to treat you the same way I treat the guys, except I may hit you a little harder just to see if I can make you cry. But then when all that other jump was jumping off there, I was like, girl, just, if you want to train, come here. And she was like, well, I'm still kind of training and still learning. I'm like, I don't care. I'm not getting in the ring with a girl. I'm like, I'm not.
Hmm.
But that was just me. But she's totally awesome. You really need to have her on the show because I'm listening on that show because I got questions too.
Oh, definitely. I'll send you a message. I'll send you a message as soon as I can, so we can
All
set
right.
something up for this month as well, and then we can
Yeah,
talk.
let me know. I'm down.
Yeah,
But yeah,
thank you.
I've been wrestling for 11 years so far. So I mean, it's definitely been a journey. And the school I trained at, I was the only female for 8 years, so I was trained as a man
Wow.
basically because they there's no other females that I could train with, so they trained me like one of the guys. So it's kind of why I wrestle the way I wrestle.
Wow.
which is like a guy. And I will tell everybody will go to her like TikTok and they be like, "Oh, this girl look fine as hell. She will beat your ass." I'm not going to even front on the topic. You will see her in her little like evening gown at the club dancing with her friends. She will beat your ass. Beat your and I'm not talking about some like, regular beat down where you get back up. You will lay down just to ponder how the fuck you got beat by somebody that looked that good. She will beat your ass.
Yo,
That's exactly what I told my girlfriend at the time when I was dating her. She's like, I had to go over there and smack her. I was like, she will beat your ass.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. I'm like, and she's like, what you gonna do? I said, I'm gonna watch. I'm like, you think I said, why? I said, it ain't worth both of us get our ass whipped. I'm like, you go ahead, take one for the team, baby. I'm gonna go start the car. You go ahead, talk shit to her. Go ahead. Watch what happens. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm gonna go sit in the car. I said, text me when you need me to carry you out. I'm like, come on. You won't get it? Go ahead. You really
Yo,
wouldn't have
that's
my back?
wild.
I'm like, I will fight any man, woman, or child in here but her. Why? Because I know she can fight. She fight like a dude. She got trained like dude. She was the only chick in the class. She didn't get to practice with a damn girl. She got to practice on dudes bigger than her. She got body slammed by dudes bigger than her. She got hit by dudes bigger than her. She will hit you like a dude.
Wow.
Go get your
Most
ass
of my
whipped. I'm gonna
matches
be
are with
outside.
men too.
Can you send me some links of some of your matches and stuff from YouTube?
I can definitely do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of my matches would be under Nakoma, but I'm still waiting on a lot of my videos to my name, so I can try and send you what I can find. But I
Yeah.
definitely have to do it for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Please do that. I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. Also, my daughter, Little Wolf, wants to say hi. Hi.
Oh yeah. Hey,
Hello.
little wolf.
Hello.
I forgot you had a daughter, but like I forgot you
Yeah,
do have a
she's
daughter. She's
11
grown
years
now.
old. Actually,
Yeah, I was
she's
gonna say she
gonna
got to
be
be
in
like
middle
11.
school. It's crazy.
I'm gonna get lost.
Yeah.
No, you're not gonna get lost.
I'm gonna get lost.
You're gonna be all right.
and I think the beauty of the interview that I know you're gonna have with her is gonna be like she gets to tell from a female's perspective, because I can't speak from a female's perspective like she can. Like I said, I've seen her work in the ring, and like and okay, so I want to say this, no disrespect. She's a bigger woman. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because I love big women, but the way she moves, and I've seen her like hit guys, and I'm like, I just want to be a tag partner. I don't want to be an opponent.
All right. So,
Well, all right, I got one question for you, and I'll probably ask you this question again when we had the interview. So I got one question. What would you consider your wrestling style as?
powerhouse
Powerhouse.
in a brawler.
Okay. Okay. So
And I'm
what
like high flyer technical.
so would that be like a Willow Nightingale and a Jazz or the Natasha Steele, something like that?
I mean, the people that I studied that I consider myself more as is Bull Nakano and Awesome Kong type.
Oh, okay, yeah,
With a little
Hit
attitude
hit
with
you.
China, if you put it that way.
So
Where
yeah.
you have more of a strong style to you as a brawler.
say that again?
He
I was
said you
saying,
have a more strong style, and I'm like, yeah, she's like Brock
Yeah.
Lesnar in a bra.
Oh, okay.
I remember
I've
Bull
seen her
Nakano.
wrestle. Y'all don't
I remember her
understand.
matches with Medusa Maselli, aka Alondra Blaze.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember those matches, and then I remember the match she had in WWE, in a trial run against Wendy Richards before she came in there during the mid '80s, early '90s. So I know exactly who she is. I know that style.
Yeah, no, I lay my hits in. I always make sure you're gonna feel it. Not gonna like decapitate. Okay, maybe some of my hits.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, choose your words wisely. Because, like, don't, because, like, you
I have a
forget,
question for you. I have a
it's
question
like,
for
I've
you.
seen you.
Like I witnessed it.
Have you gotten in the ring with Russell Bay before?
With who?
Okay. Was it in Women's of Wrestling or was it another indie promotion?
Oh, I've wrestled a little bit of everywhere. Let me see. I've wrestled pretty much all over the East Coast, Canada, down Texas, Florida, Puerto Rico, a little bit out west in Montana, North Dakota, Tennessee, Indiana. I'm trying to branch out more and more, but I've wrestled for tons of companies over the years.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to look you up as well. When you send some links over to BARZ, I'm definitely gonna check them out. And in the meantime, I'm gonna take it upon myself to do some due diligence and check out your matches, on my own, and
You
check
won't
out
be
your
disappointed.
style.
All
You
right.
will not be
I believe
disappointed.
that.
Like I said,
I believe I won't be disappointed. It's been a long time that I've like interacted with a woman wrestler who who has said this is my style, and then instantly I can gravitate in knowledge of knowing what that style is because I grew up watching that style. So,
Yeah.
what would you
look for the
say?
part where she licks her hand and then chops the person. I always like that part. Y'all don't understand. I've seen this woman wrestle live, and it's like, as a fan, when you watch somebody wrestle and they get hit, and you like, ooh. But when you're a wrestler and you watch another wrestler hit somebody, and you're like, God damn it, that had to hurt. Like, I don't care who you are. I'm like, she just slapped the black off that man. He left the show a white man.
That
I'm like,
happened
he
to me
left.
before.
He left with an
Okay.
800 credit score.
I have one more question.
Mhm.
Like, what made you get? Well, it's actually a two-part question. What made you get into professional wrestling, and who early on in your training or your growth did you want to emulate? Not necessarily be exactly like, but their style or their moveset that you want to emulate from from women's wrestling that you grew up on.
So, I mean, I kind of always watched it as a kid. I know it's typically everyone's answer when they get asked that question, but I watched it as a kid, and me and my older brother we used to just like wrestle and like pretend to be each of the wrestlers, like Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan, China, like all of them. We used to like pretend to be them and stuff like that growing up. But um, the ones that I did when I first what first grew grabbed my attention was China. The way that she would just
Mm.
walk out and all of a sudden everybody would she just demanded attention without even doing anything. That power that she had just walking in and the fact that she could face anybody, man or woman in that ring. That's the type of attitude that I have. You step in front of me, I'm gonna take you down no matter what it takes. I'm not gonna quit. You can knock me down, a few times, but I'm gonna get right back up and try to finish what I'm what I'm supposed to finish. Like I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
why?
quit.
Yeah, why?
I've witnessed this. I've witnessed this happen.
I did retro back in the '90s.
Hold
'90s
on, hold
Euro.
on, hold on, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Before I let you go, I just gotta show respect to the panel. We're gonna do one at a time. So Mr. Entertainment was talking, and he's the guest. He's the guest for the day as far as the interview. We just got finished conducting an interview with Mr. Entertainment. It's an open panel. So before I let you talk, I want Mr. Entertainment to finish. Then Devon Show, I'll let you go. So just give it 1 second. Let him finish, please. Thank you.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, and I never mind ever sharing a session with the woman below me because she will beat my ass. I just want to say that because I know if I didn't, I was gonna get that text. You got my money, and I know how to find you. So
Nah,
I,
nothing but
I just,
love, nothing but love.
you know, but nah, I appreciate it. You let me come out, let me talk. BARZ Wrestling Media, always #1 podcaster on TikTok. We're gonna get this man up. As always, I like to thank everyone who asked me questions. I like to thank my little sis who I haven't spoke to in a hot one for like jumping in because I was like, why does that person look familiar? And I'm like, oh, it's her, the beast. Because like I said, when you interview her, I'm definitely gonna be in there because there's a lot of things that I personally want to know about her myself, which concerning wrestling as the wrestling aspect wise, because this woman, I wonder why this woman is not in a NXT or not in a Evolve. You know what I'm saying? Because like she's talented, and it's like you meet so many talented wrestlers in your journeys that you're saying, okay, like she said, she's been upstate, lower state, middle state, round state, overseas, underseas, around the way, girl. I'm like, why isn't she picked up? Because nowadays it's more about a look, what she does has, because she's fired. Let's get it straight.
Thank you.
But for some odd reason, she's not picked up. So I want to thank you, Bars, for having me on. Let me talk about my wrestling life and career. Let me talk about what happened on the Kamaro Brown show. I want to thank everybody that asked me questions. I want to thank Lil Sis for showing up. And hopefully when y'all ready to do her show, I'm going to be right there. And I'm just going to be in the bottom typing, I was a witness. She'll be like, that one match that punched this guy, I was a witness. That's all you're going to hear me see me typing. But thank you, and I appreciate you, man. And keep them bars going.
Now I want to thank you. You know, like I said earlier. You know what I mean. This is what this I love this content. The funny thing is that like I am a musician. Like I do music for real, for real. Like you know what I'm saying. But it for some reason I just enjoy making wrestling content more than I like writing music. So I don't know. It's just something about wrestling that just draws me in. Like I told you, my uncle was a professional wrestler. So that it's in the blood, you know what I mean? If I had stuck with it when I was younger and just stuck through all the trials, like when I went to that 6 months worth and didn't worry about getting hurt, I probably would be still doing it right now. You know, so I probably would have been like wrestling right now, but I just got scared. You know what I mean? They started showing these videos, and I was like,
You can still do it. You can still get into it. You got it.
nah, I don't know. Like I'm
Never think. Don't say 40, because I just turned 49 yesterday, bro. Don't
You said
say
no
it.
yeah,
excuses.
I, I'm like, because I'm like 40. I'm about to sound like everybody's grandfather. You still a youngin.
I mean, I'm
yeah,
You still a
31.
youngin. Like
yeah.
she's 31. I've known her since she was like in her 20s. So it's
Yeah.
like you're really never too old. And like I said, I'm 49 years old. I still know if I need to get in that ring. And like I said, like I be like when she just came in the room, I'm like, oh, now I'm hyped. I got to go down to my school now, and I got to run the ropes a few times, take a few bumps, see if I still got it. When I know I do, it's just that, do I want to show the world that at 49 years old I can still go? That's the real question. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, I'm like, I'm gonna play the trainer, play the promoter. When it's time for me to step in, like if anybody I want to wrestle, it's my son, my 20-year-old son. Even though he's been training wrestling since he was like 7. So, and the kid is like Javon Evans, but he
Okay.
feels he has he feels that his calling is MMA. And I said, well, you can transition whenever you want. You know the skills, you got the talent.
Mhm.
So if I wrestle anyone ever again, it's gonna be my 20-year-old son who just took me out to like eat on my birthday and made the waitress just saying happy birthday to me. That's who I'm gonna wrestle.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah. Divine Show. Welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. Do you have any questions for Mr. Entertainment? Do you have any questions for anybody on the panel? The floor is yours.
I got coming. That lady, the wolf lady. You know, what year I've been wrestling?
Sorry, say
I've
that
been
again.
with. What year you been wrestling?
What year did I graduate?
No, what year you been wrestling?
I
Oh,
think he's trying to ask you how many years have you been wrestling?
I've been wrestling for 11 years.
Me, 29.
Oh, that's cool. Where are you out of?
I at Roosevelt, Utah.
Oh,
I
Utah. I
built.
haven't been out there yet. Oh, maybe one day I'll make
Oh,
my way out that way.
yeah, I built in a wrestling school out here.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
The
Oh,
name
Cool.
so
called.
you, not to cut you off, so you're a professional wrestler too.
Yep,
Oh, okay. Okay. So you say you've been wrestling for 29 years?
yep. Like my
Yeah?
grandfather, my
Oh,
grandfather, my dad, and my mom side.
okay. 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 So how old are you right now?
29.
So you've been wrestling. So you've been wrestling since you was born.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So I guess what you're saying is in the blood. It's in the blood then, right?
Yep. In my
Okay.
family, blood.
Okay. All right. No problem. No problem. Uh, do you have any other questions for anybody?
My question is the night lady. You won a title for her?
Have I won titles? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have throughout the years. I had a women's championship belt from a company up in Canada for about 2 years. I held it. There was another belt I won, the women's championship belt for New World Wrestling Extreme, which was a company in Woonsocket, Rhode Island. I held that for a couple of years as well. I was the first ever Indigenous and the first woman to even have the belt for that company that ran for 17 years. Um, I've held quite a few belts throughout the years, honestly, like a whole ton of them. So actually, I still currently hold the 6-man tag team belt as well from a company in Jersey.
Oh, in
Oh, good.
Jersey? What part of
Yeah.
Jersey?
Oh God, what? It's been a while since I've been out there, but I still hold the belt. The company was called We Are One. I forgot
Okay.
what
Oh, I know who
years
that
Cause,
is.
ago.
I know who that is.
Cause I'm in Jersey. I'm from Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm from
Because
Atlantic
I'm
City.
actually, yeah, because I'm actually talking with the owner that runs We Are One. I'm trying to make my way back there, and then maybe a couple companies up in New York.
Oh, okay, yo. When you do that, let me know. I would definitely come through to watch and stuff like that. Cause I'm in Jersey. I'm in Jersey.
Oh, okay.
I just took my son on his birthday to his first AEW Collision event. We went to go
Oh,
see
okay.
Collision in Atlantic City. So he was like ecstatic. He likes Kevin Knight. When Kevin Knight did that 450 flip or whatever, he was like, oh my God, you see that, Dad? So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I
Yeah, this
definitely.
year I'm trying to wrestle more on the East Coast because I've traveled far enough, for a while now. I'm trying to bring it back home and try to keep it in the East Coast for the most part this year, I think, because I've been
Oh,
gone for too long.
that's what's up. Oh, I
Yeah.
see. I see the belts. I see the
Yeah, and I was just
belts.
looking at that too.
I see the belts.
Yeah, everybody trying to flex right now. I'm like, let me go ahead and post this picture.
Oh, I see the belt. Can you tell us the name of each title?
Okay, the main big one, the bottom one, that is the EPW Heavyweight Championship. The two other ones are the EPW Tag titles. So that's the World and the Tag. That's for my company, Elite Pro Wrestling. These are
Mm-hmm.
my titles that I had custom made, custom logo, all that. I designed the logo for all of these. So if anybody's in there thinking about being a promoter, things that I hate as a promoter, I hate when people get replica WWE titles and then
Mm.
go get a sticker maker and they put their logos on a WWE title. That's
Mm.
tacky. I hate it. I hate it. So I'm like, if you in the same price, you could probably buy one of them uh replica ones. You could have a custom one made.
I
Okay,
want to
They
ask
look
both
really
of you,
nice though. I like
both of
them.
you guys a question.
Yeah, I like
You
them.
know, you mentioned y'all former champions, that is, and I see, you have yours. Let's see, is it common or customary that during your title reign they give you, you know, a replica belt, but it's authentic. It's not like a toy belt. It's an actual replica belt that's worth, the same value as the one that you're wearing in shows and everything when you cut your promos. Is that like a traditional thing, or is that just something that a lot of
well,
wrestlers, when they win a
for me,
championship, they just try to do it for the sake of having a trophy case, as their proof of them
like if
being
you
a
look at
wrestling champion.
there was a TV
That's
show.
dope. That's a dope Knicks belt, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Knicks fan, trust. Yeah, but I looked at Razor Ramon when he was an Intercontinental Champion. I think he went on. I think it was I think it was Jerry Springer, and Jerry Springer had these two kids on there that were both dying. And Razor Ramon had the Intercontinental title, and he handed the belt to the kids, and he said, "Y'all share this, mail it back and forth to one another." He said he got in the back, he broke down in tears, and he called Vince McMahon and said, "Vince, I gave the belt away to the kids." And Vince was like, "I would have did the same thing. We'll just make another one." But as far as that goes, if you ever seen Matt Hardy's house, he has replicas of every belt that he's ever won in every major organization. Certain people have the original belts because they took it with them. Like Ric Flair has the original WCW big belt. He has that. That's sitting in his house.
Mm.
But then he's got copies of other ones that he's won. But me myself, I don't when it comes to stuff like that, I'm a low budget indie company. I can't give you a replica of my shit. I just can't. It's like take a picture with it, get some promo pics with it. Once you lose it, I'm like it comes back to me. You can say that you used to be the champion, but I can't give you a replica of this unless you paying for it. So that's how that rocks with me.
Ladybug says she had a question. Go ahead, Ladybug.
Appreciate it. First, Mr. Antine, I want to say I enjoyed your interview. I know it's really compelling to hear your story. And then
Thank you.
I don't want to say your name wrong. Is it Nashoba?
Yeah, actually, you said it right. Yep.
Okay, perfect. I've been watching your wrestling for about 15 minutes now. And I was wondering, I went on your page to look at your dates. I know you mentioned the East Coast. Do you have anything that you're planning maybe in the future later this year?
What state are you from, if you don't mind me asking?
North Carolina.
North Carolina. I mean, I can try and see if I can get booked out there. I mean, I'm actually looking to go to new states. I haven't been to North Carolina yet.
Yeah, yeah, you should check out Ashe Wrestling in Charlotte. We have that. Um we have a wrestling promotion in New Bern.
Yeah,
Just
if you don't
continue.
mind, like you can send me like some of the company names and I can check them out and message them and stuff like that too.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll do that tonight.
All right, awesome. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Oh, and
you.
sis, I got to tell you, Ladybug has her own wrestling podcast too.
Oh,
So
she does.
Yes, and
yeah,
I
she
would love
does.
to have
So
you
Yeah, I
on
just
too.
gave you a follow. I'll follow you back.
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank
so
you.
definitely try to see if because like I said, different in the business than it is for men than it is for women. Because I know, like I always use like I would say the black and white thing, like how I would always say like I gotta jump 6 feet for something that a white man has to reach 2 inches for.
Mm,
It's twice as hard for women. Like
yeah.
if I gotta jump 6, she gotta jump 10.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So and plus she's indigenous, even harder.
Oh yeah.
That's like being black without being black, but you
Yeah.
black.
My mom is indigenous, so I completely I get it.
Oh,
I
okay.
have an auntie. I have an auntie that's indigenous, but she lived in Nigeria. She was like 6'7". She played volleyball.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a power forward by WNBA standards.
yeah, yeah. That's what my family says we get all the height from because like my aunties and stuff were very tall back in Africa. So yeah,
Like all
I'm
all
only
of my I'm the
5'4".
shortest. I'm the shortest out of the tall people in my family, and I'm 6 foot.
yeah,
So
I may
yeah.
be 5'4", but my attitude's 6 feet. So
yeah, you forget. You forget. I've seen you punch grown ass men. You ain't gotta tell me.
I
And it,
believe
and if
it.
and if Ladybug is watching any of your matches, if she's watching any of your intergender matches, where you've actually faced guys,
I haven't gotten
man,
there
look
yet. I'm watching the
like I
World of Hurt
said,
Wrestling right now.
if I am in a bar fight and sis is with me, sis is fighting the dude because I'm gonna beat that chick up.
Oh man.
Yeah, hey, Ladybug, why don't you plug in the podcast that you got going on Saturdays so then people can know and follow it and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So we have a podcast that comes on Saturday at noon. Right now it's on TikTok. We're moving to other platforms next week, but right now you can catch us at noon Eastern Standard Time and 11 a.m. Central on Saturday. So definitely come check us out.
I love this right there. Everybody making connections and networking. I love this type of stuff right here. I love that sis is here because, like, if we were to start talking about female wrestlers, she'd have been one of them that I spoke about, and nobody probably would have like known who she is. Now there's a whole room that knows. Go check out her work. Go follow her. Bring
thank
her up.
you.
Have her on an interview because the girl is dope and she
Yes.
fight like a dude. She's the reason why entertainment is now doing comedy, and I stopped wrestling. A lot of people don't know that. I just want to do comedy now.
Well,
Because
good
I ain't
after I
gonna
seen
say.
feedback from you. I appreciate it.
after I
I ain't
seen
gonna
her
lie.
lick her hand and chop this dude, I was like, yeah, retirement is intimate,
Oh, you
and I'm
one
gonna
of
go
them
ahead
people?
and
Okay. Yeah,
I'm like, I'm gonna go
that.
ahead. I'm gonna go
He said,
ahead.
"I'm
And
gonna
I'm
wrap
like,
that shit the fuck up."
I'm like, it's a wrap. It's done. I'm like, I'm gonna call it a good career because I never had to wrestle her. And now that you wear the like white eye thing, that
Mm.
it's like I said, if I was a dude and I saw that, I think I posted it on one of your pages. I said, if I was a dude and I saw that, I'd be scared to approach you. I said, so I send the bartender to bring you a drink while I wait by the door. So
You know what's
I'm
I'm
not
funny
like,
gonna
is
lie, that's
that
kind of
actually
cute.
after the show, you know how like all the wrestlers hang out after and stuff like that sometimes.
yeah.
Yeah, so I still have my contact and I totally forgot to take it out, and I still had some of my, like my paint on me or whatever. But I changed it out of my gear, and I forgot to like clean the stuff off my face. And a guy came up behind me and he goes, "Hey, can I buy you a drink?" I turned around. He goes, oh, bye." He walked off. I was like, "Oh, okay." I was like,
Yeah,
"Whatever."
because
Yo, I'd been
like I said,
rolling.
like when I first seen that video that you did, you was wearing like regular clothes, but you had that eye and that thing in your
Yeah.
eye, and I was about to write down. I was like, baby girl, what happened to your eye? I was like, then I started. Oh, she's in gimmick. I was like, I wonder if she wears that anywhere. And they say, what happened? You were like, it was a cosmic storm in 1994. You know,
So
You know what what I say? I say, especially to the kids, because the kids, often be staring. They're like, "The eye, there's no eye." I tell them like, "Yeah, Bear took it," and I was like, "Guess what happened?" What?
like
The
this
kid-
is
the
how
little
I
kid
got
goes,
inducted into my clan.
yeah, the little kid goes, "Did the bear eat it?" I was like, "Yeah, the bear ate it, but I ate him."
so
So
you was
yeah, no, I
you
think
you had
yeah,
the
the kid at the
Abaddon
last
moment.
show was telling everybody my story. I told him, I'm like, "Yep, that's the story now."
Yeah, the
So you had
Abaddon
that
moment.
Abaddon. You had that Abaddon moment.
Basically,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, the
Leroy,
one
what's good,
person.
bro? What's good, Leroy,
Yeah,
man?
what's going on, bro?
Welcome to the live. We had just finished interviewing Mr. Entertainment, so now it's an open panel for anybody to ask him any questions. Also, you could ask Miss Naira any questions as well. She's also on the panel. You know what I mean? She's also a professional wrestler too. So anything you want to ask, I know you wrestle as well. So like anything you want to ask Mr. Entertainment or Miss Naira.
Oh yeah, okay. I want to ask Nightware stuff. So, Mr. Entertainment said that you lick your hand when you chop. There was one person I seen lick their hand, and it was like back in the day before I got into wrestling. And it was Mercedes Martinez at Shimmer Show, and she chopped the dog shit out of Eddie Kingston. Well, it wasn't a Shimmer Show; it was in the Shimmer building. My bad. Uh, and I was like, oh yeah, she can chop the shit out of people. It's like it's just one of them few people that like man or woman, you just like, I'm not trying to wrestle. Like I'm trying to wrestle you, but I'm not trying to strike with you. I'm just trying to grapple, just keep it
Yeah.
grappling. I
no,
hit you
like
one
she
time, you
said, her
like,
style of wrestling is she likes that brawler style, and I'm like that high flyer technical guy. So it's like I'm gonna try to like do technical moves on you and high fly over you. She's just gonna run through you.
yeah. I know people like that, yeah.
You know what
It
I'm
was
saying?
it was this girl that before she left wrestling, her name was Rekka Tahaka. She used to train at the Nightmare Factory, the same as I did and shit. She hit me so hard one time, I was like, this is why I don't fight Samoans even in pro wrestling. I just don't do it. I just
Yeah,
There's
don't do
no
it.
difference between.
probably,
I don't really believe that there's any difference between indigenous people and Samoan because they all
yeah.
got really big
They all hit
families.
hard,
Like,
dog.
Yeah,
yeah, they
I was
all
gonna say
hit
I have a
hard. Yeah,
mixture
they
of
all
both.
hit hard
That's the
because
thing.
They
like
all
I've seen her take a chop and then look at the dude like, and I've seen dudes put they all into chopping her. Like I've seen
nigga,
them like
what
reach.
that, like
Like I've seen
damn.
them reach.
I'll be like,
I've seen them reach as far as back as slavery to be like, this is for my people. You know what I'm saying? And then she like takes the chop, and then she like stands up and looks at him and like, hold on, let me show you how you really supposed to do it. And then she like chopped the dude, and whether he's just overselling or not, I don't personally
nah,
think he was. But when you see
nah,
that
that's a
man
shit
drop
we
to
really
his
selling. He's like,
knees,
god damn.
Yeah, I call
when
my
you see that
chop.
man drop to his knees and look up at her like, I'm sorry,
Nah,
Then you
because
know.
I be getting into with people on the internet about the intergender masses. I'm like, you ever really wrestled like people that would really hit you, man or woman, mainly women. Like, people, women that really, what I call the snug style, will really snug one in on you. That's when you need to worry about. It's not a gender thing. It's like, oh, you guys keep yourself alive for as a wrestler, but like it looks believable, especially if you're
Yeah.
laying that bitch in.
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh, they be like, oh, you for intergender wrestling? I'm for like a good ass match. If you're a good ass worker and you're sitting snug, hey, it don't matter gender wise. So that's just me. What I've learned in wrestling. So I think probably like she's like slimmer, but like she hits hard. Like it reminds me of like Homicide in the way she be hitting
Oh,
people.
okay.
It's Robin Renegade. I was like when she first started out, I was like, how are you this small but hit so hard? Like I didn't understand that because I'll be the only one doing the going in there with the women because apparently I'm good at getting my ass whooped for women. So apparently all the women want me to beat me up and shit. Story of my fucking life. Uh, but yeah,
Yeah,
all of
Mr.
them.
Mr. Entertainment had a phone call. He said he'll be right back, but he had a phone call. So while we waiting for Mr. Entertainment to come back, you can also ask Ms. Naira any questions that you guys might have for her. She will be on the show. I'm gonna set up a date and she will be on the show. Then y'all could really ask her some more questions. But she's here now, so y'all definitely can ask her any questions about the business or whatever. So the floor is open for that.
Yeah. Feel free to
Oh,
ask anything.
oh, Hanaya, you need to wrestle DCW.
I need to wrestle which CZW?
DCW.
Oh, ECW?
You mean
No,
GCW or CZW?
DCW.
Think he says.
GCW.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a
I
good
love.
wrestling. It's a good wrestling.
He said.
Yeah.
I guess he's
Hey,
asking. Did you ever
you feel
wrestle
good
for
enough.
those promotions?
Not GCW or I want to. I've actually messaged them, but I haven't gotten anything back.
Me too. I'm trying to wrestle with veteran in the company once,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
you'd
you
be
know
a
what
good
happened?
fit for GCW.
I got I got thrown a table.
You got thrown into a table?
Yep.
I've gotten thrown through a table too before off the top rope. That was fun.
Stop
I
lying.
know
Stop
that.
lying.
Go
The table got
baby.
thrown into you.
And then my title.
Oh, okay. Look
and
at that.
Oh, that's the old
yeah,
school NWA TV title. I like that.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I call it CCW
Nice.
Ah.
because it's the
and
only team
I
idol.
I do
Um,
apologize for having to take that call. It was my father who is also a day late because he calls me and he starts singing happy birthday and I'm like, bro, you know my birthday was yesterday? And he was like, it was? I'm like, bro, you were there 49 years ago. What do you think?
Well, happy belated birthday.
They just, oh god, it's like Reverend White, ladies and gentlemen, Reverend White every day. It's like I love my dad, but sometimes he just, you just gotta like break it to your parents. He's like, brother Junior, and I'm like, yeah. He's like, you're 49 years old today, and I'm like, Daddy, my birthday was yesterday. He's
oh
like,
yeah, I got
no, it wasn't.
sorry.
I'm
The
like,
mention,
Daddy, my
the
birthday is May
mention,
31st, not June 1st. And he was
the
like,
mention, the mention
it
sounded
is,
pretty.
and I'm like, yeah. Like
All
he's
right.
very.
So we're
I
gonna
guess he's at
wind
that
so
age.
down. We're gonna
Oh yeah,
wind
I
down
got to
real.
tell you my weathering name. It's Baba no Baba Way Machine.
What was that?
so
I just
Baba
heard Bubba and Machine.
Way. Yep, that's my name.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
okay.
your.
Bubba
Oh,
Machine.
that's your ring. That's your
Okay.
ring name. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm
Yeah,
gonna check
yeah,
you out. I'm gonna
yeah,
check you out.
yeah, yeah. Quite. I come
fair
from a
enough.
Kentucky family.
I like it. I like it.
Okay. All right. So I want to give Mikey a chance to ask a few questions to Mr. Entertainment, and Miss Naira. Then after that, we gonna wind down. So I'll let you go, Mikey. We just got finished interviewing Mr. Entertainment. Asked him a bunch of questions, whatever. Floor's open for you to ask anything you want.
I got a question for Mr. Entertainment.
Okay.
So you say you're technical and a high flying guy, right?
Yeah.
All right. Have you been in the ring with people that are the same style as you, and you be like, man, they do that really good, and like I just hey, well, I want to wrestle this
When
person.
whenever that's what's called chemistry. When you're in the ring with somebody that you can just gel with, like everything flows like water, that's chemistry. And there's been so I could say there's been like 5 people that I've wrestled that have basically matched me like aerial wise and got similar like skill sets as me. You know, the first time I wrestled, what was the guy's name? His name was he called himself Timmy I. His name was Timmy I. It's AIIIIIGHT. His name was Timmy I. And me and Timmy just went over in the back what we were gonna do. And then we went out and we got in the ring and we did everything with a little bit more extra seasoning and we just blended. And then after that match, we went in the back and I was like, yo, we need to go do this over there at this company, except I'll let you go over there. We would literally go to different feds, put on the same match, but just choose the endings differently. He's like, instead of doing this, let's do that. And we gelled so well. If I've seen so many, like, if you go watch the match between Andrade and AJ Styles,
Mhm.
masterpiece,
Mhm.
complete
Yeah.
masterpiece. And I can say out of the like, oh God, 20 some odd years I've wrestled, I've only put on probably like 5 masterpieces, and 3 of them were with Timmy.
Yeah. Yeah. You get those very figurative. You just click with. I've had those people too. So it's just like the other. There's a two-part question. So what was your favorite? I call it independent wrestling promotions territories because that's what it is. The modern day territories. So what territory was your favorite place to wrestle in?
I'm gonna keep it 100%. There was no place that was my favorite because everywhere I went, when entertainment walked in the building, they knew it was a show. So it was like, I can't like narrow it down to one place because there's so many places. Like, but I could say my favorite place is gotta be. I'm always gonna have a heart for the company down in Jersey, ECPW, with Gino Caruso. That when Gino was doing mad years ago, he was doing a 5 boroughs championship,
Mm-hmm.
and I went there and they were like hailing from Brooklyn, New York. And the minute they said Brooklyn, the whole crowd erupted and they knew who it was. And I walked out there, man. It was like that was like my WrestleMania moment.
I feel
There's
that,
probably
dog.
close. There's probably close to like 3, maybe 4,000 people in that gymnasium, but it sounded like it was like 50,000 people. And when I came out to like the entertainment theme song, and everybody started like, there's a snare in my beat where it's like, everybody was clapping on that. They was like, and it was like
Oh
when you
yeah,
got that
that's
when you
when people
got
clap on
that
your
type
theme
of
song.
thing, yeah. And when you got that type of like energy from the fans, it's like you want to give them like a 4 hour wrestling match, but your body won't let it. Let's get that straight. But when you got the energy from them, and whenever I was in Brooklyn or we did a show in Hempstead or in one of the 5 boroughs or whatever, whenever I was there, I got that energy and I got that love. Fans afterwards wanted to take pictures with me, and everybody and their mama wants to buy you beer. And I'm like, and
For
it's
sure.
it's like, yo,
Yeah.
I'm like, have a drink with me after the show. And I'm like, bro, I got a drink with like 800 of y'all. That's not happening. I'm like, there's 2 shots and I'm in a
You
hotel
gotta
room. I
limit it.
gotta
You gotta
go.
limit it.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you gotta go. But I gotta say Jersey and like Brooklyn are like my 2 favorite places of all time, just because of the energy and the love that the fans give you. Not that I didn't get love from all them other places, but when you
Which
at
is
home and they
especially,
know
yeah.
you home, it's like, but when you at home and they know you home, it hits so different. It hits so
Yeah,
differently.
definitely. I've only wrestled near my home. Like I think the closest one was like near like in South New Jersey, but uh I wrestled in Jersey a whole bunch of times. But like yeah, when I'm near home it goes up a level. So yeah, I know what you're feeling.
So, what's up, everybody? I just want to interject real quick. Everybody here wrestling?
Nah,
Not everybody.
That
not
be
everybody here is wrestling. Just Nasty Leroy's a wrestler. Mr. Entertainment's a wrestler. I believe Devon said he was a wrestler, and Nashoba Naira is a wrestler as well.
Okay,
That's
so
it.
everybody except for me.
What'd you say?
I said everybody but me.
Yeah. Nah. We were just like I said. I just got finished conducting an interview with Mr. Entertainment for the show, and we just having an open forum for anybody to ask anybody any questions or whatever concerning professional wrestling or whatever the case may be. So that's what we're doing. That's why I wanted to give you an opportunity to ask him or Miss Naira any questions that you might have professional wrestling wise.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to thank y'all for doing contributing to the business.
not a problem.
No problem.
I know, I
Appreciate
know,
it,
Like
Doug.
I gotta say,
I
like
know it
when you
takes years
interview,
off your life.
it takes years off your knees,
You're right.
especially if you're a high flyer. Like I said, I was doing like if you ever go YouTube me, I do a backflip, I do front flips, I do all that stuff, and now it's like and that was like in the early beginning. Like I was in my 20s then. I was like between like 21 and 25. I'm doing front flips, I'm doing back flips, I'm doing them crazy like the front flip that you seen Ricochet do out of the ring. I did that in like '01. I'm like that was me. I was that guy.
But
I was the
you ever
flippy.
wrestled you ever wrestled Amazing Red back in the early 2000s?
Actually, here's a cool story. I did. He was with the SATs at the time. Uh, I didn't wrestle him per se. Let me. I did well, like well, if you ever go to a show and you're a wrestler, you get in the ring with certain wrestlers and y'all start practicing around and doing stuff
Yeah.
like that, goofing around. I've done like stuff like that with him. You know what I'm saying? Never personally wrestled him. Always wanted to. Um, then like who else was there? There's because like Brian Excel was there. He had his squad. Um, I've like there's so many high flyers that back then nobody knows now. Like everybody, there's a wrestler out right now that called himself Slim Shady. Back in Ring of Honor early days, Slim Shady used to have a group called Circle K. It was like him, Jay Lethal. It was a bunch of the young cats that were like between 16 and 18. I think Alex Shelley was up in there somewhere. Like all these cats that you see now that are in mainstream wrestling started out in Ring of Honor. Alex
Yeah.
Shelley, Amazing Red, Samoa Joe, Low Key, um, Roderick Strong. There was even a tag team called the Rain Crew Express, Dunn and Marcos. But they live out here where I'm at now, and I think they got a school out here in Rochester, along with Colin
Mm, okay.
Delaney. Colin Delaney has a school out here, ground. I think it's either Ground Zero. I think it's Ground Zero Wrestling out here in Rochester, and
Hey, he had at school. That's crazy.
yeah,
I
him and I don't know if you remember from Ring of Honor, Cheech and Cloudy. Uh,
Yeah.
Cheech, Cheech is one of the trainers there with him.
And that's
So
crazy.
and
I didn't know they had a
so
school.
yeah, like and Cheech, it's like everybody like I've wrestled Colin. There's a 3-way match. Uh, damn, from I think like 2010. It was me, Colin Delaney, and this is right after Colin Delaney's ECW run. It was me, Colin Delaney, and a guy named Cryptic Keegan. And some of my like there's a spot where I super kick Cryptic, and then I super kick Colin, and then I hit them both with spine busters, and I still lose the match. But it was a dope match. So
Damn.
it's like this like
Yeah, that was the whole era
Everybody
in the
know
early
who
2000s. Like I remember watching the my first thing was watching was it not Mafia? Was it Mafia? Dan Moff and all them.
Dan Hoffman. I know you mean.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
like, who
So
else was a big wrestler out here in Rochester? The late great Luke Harper. Luke Harper lived out here, or as he was known out here as Brody Lee. I had the privilege and the honor to share locker rooms with him. I'm not going to sit up here and try to pretend that me and him were the best of the friends, but we weren't. But when he saw me, he knew who I was, and we always gave each other that. He was so respectable, and his wife actually used to be a wrestler as well, but she stopped once she got pregnant. Sydney stopped wrestling, and it was cool
damn, that
because
bitch was
like
a wrestler too.
me and him worked for Next Era because like he worked for NWA Upstate and I was with Next Era Wrestling, but then Next Era Wrestling got him to come over and do some stuff, and we just love joking around, and it's like it's just so weird that he's not here anymore because like it's just funny. And it's like all these big name wrestlers that y'all look up to and idolize, they're normal people. I don't know how many names Sis down here have been around, but I've been around so many names. Too Cold Scorpio. I tell everybody this. Mr. 630, Jarrell Clark, is my son's godfather. I named my son after him, just spelt his name differently. You know what I'm saying? I got a video of me and my son talking about it, and Jarrell's, and I talked about how he beat my son in Madden using the Cleveland Browns. I was like, I don't know how he did that, but he did.
Not
You know what
the
I'm,
Cleveland Browns.
you know what I'm saying? I was like, I don't know how he beat him with the Cleveland Browns, but I'm like, but I redeemed you
The
by beating
Cleveland
him in
Browns?
2K. Yeah, he used the Cleveland Browns in Madden.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
All right, so I'm gonna start winding it down, but I got one last question for Mr. Entertainment. Have you ever
Yes, sir.
wrestled? Have you ever wrestled Ruckus?
Oh, Ruckus was bad, man. Have I ever wrestled him? No.
Damn.
Have I been in the same arena where he's wrestled? A billion and one times. I never got a chance to personally wrestle him. When I first started my career in wrestling, Ruckus was one of the one guys I like I said, I've been in the ring with him, not during a match, but let's like a little session that he used to do before shows. You know what I'm saying? I've done those like little seminars or whatever. I never got a chance to wrestle him. He was innovative. The stuff that people are doing now, this man created back then.
Yep, yep,
And
yep.
Facts.
I remember when what is the guy from ECW's name? Nova, or when he was in WWE, Simon Dean. Simon Dean was doing seminars, and me and him was talking because at the time I had this big afro, and I wanted to call myself Shonuff, but that's a whole nother story. And he was like, "Yo, I can't wait to sign Ruckus. This has got to be like late '99, early 2000, 2001 ish." He's like, "Man, I can't wait to sign Ruckus. See what he did." From what I understand, Ruckus was only negated to like being like an extra and at one point security, just like former ROH champion Xavier was security for WWE for like 5 years.
Damn. Not you giving them security gig and not even giving them a chance. It's
Damn.
crazy. So my question is, where how can I type like when I type your name into YouTube, what do I look up? What's the first match I should look up?
I don't know. It's like there's so many. Like if you there's two names you can look under. You can look under Horace White or you can look under Junior White. But put Mr. Entertainment in front of both of them, and you'll see Mr. Entertainment versus blah blah blah. Mr. Entertainment, or just put Mr. Entertainment versus. There's actually a guy on there that wrote a song about Horace White, and it's funny, and it's it's a video game song. It's like Horace White, Horace. It's funny, like I rarely go. It's just funny if you ever watch it, but if you'll see some of my matches, you'll see like there's a lot of them on there, a lot of them. I don't on my YouTube channel. I probably have like I don't know 40, but there are other people who I've wrestled that if like you put Horace White and then put VS, it'll show up like Horace White versus Josh Jordan, Horace White versus uh, uh, Too Cold Scorpio, Horace White versus all these other different people. So either Horace White or Junior White. So
Okay, okay.
either or.
All right, so that wraps up this amazing interview for tonight. I appreciate the panel. I definitely want to appreciate Mr. Entertainment for coming up here today and doing this interview, doing this live on TikTok and YouTube for y'all. Like, I'm saying for y'all because this is definitely for y'all, not just for me. This is for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like the fact that Mr. Entertainment is not a gatekeeper. He's willing to break bread and like spread his knowledge of the business to everybody and anybody that's willing to listen, and also give his backstory on how he went from where he was at to where he is right now. Because I think the backstory is one of the most important things, because it shows that you had to go through something to get where you at right now. So
Facts.
I definitely appreciate that. You know, I'm a sponge. I'm listening. I'm taking notes. So I'm pretty sure this ain't gonna be the last time that you
He needs
be.
to be a
Oh,
wrestler.
yeah, huh?
As a C, he should be a wrestler. He learns everything as a sponge, takes notes. There you go. He's already started.
Nah, I don't know. I don't know. I think I missed that boat. Like I said, I don't mind. I would take a few bumps. I know for sure I could do that. You know what I'm saying? I
Here's
definitely
the
would
thing.
take a
Here's what
few
you should do.
bumps.
If you want to get into wrestling, like it's because like there's so many things you can be. Like you ain't got to be the wrestler. You could be like the
Hmm.
person that plays the intro music. You could be that announcer. You could be the
Manager.
backstage interviewer. You could be the manager. You know, just to like get your little taste into wrestling, just to put yourself in that position, so you know more about the business or about that position. You ain't necessarily got to jump in the ring. You could jump in the ring and count three. You can be the ring announcer, like I said. You could be somebody's manager. You could
Hmm.
play the music at the show. You
A
can learn
lot of
how that
Yeah,
companies
stuff
need
gets.
yeah,
help
you
with
can
that kind
be
of stuff
a
too.
referee.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. I definitely would consider. You know, a lot of it. I think
I
what
mean,
I
you
would
could
be
be
more.
easily a commentator. You're basically
Yeah,
doing, yeah.
that's exactly what I was thinking, commentating. But I still like, if anything, I still would like to take a bump and get in the ring. Like I told my son, I told all three of my kids, I said, yo, if I was to like actually get an opportunity to train for a little bit and do it, I'll probably see if I could get like at least a few like small little minuscule matches here and there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just to like, you know what I mean, whatever they want me to do or whatever. I wouldn't be more picky. I just want to experience it. You know what I'm saying? Because I,
Hmm.
I I know for sure, as far as the character aspect, I got that down packed, but I know for sure I don't got the wrestling aspect of it. But the character aspect, like just how to engage, because I get that. I learned that from just music and battle rapping. So like you gotta be engaging when you battle rap. If you're not engaging, ain't nobody hearing nothing you got to say. And you gotta have the inflections in your voice, and you gotta know how to like, draw in the crowd. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have certain lines that's gonna piss people off and make them angry, and you gotta be a heel, and at the same time you could be a face. Like it's all. That's why I said music and professional wrestling, hip hop go hand
Go
in
hand in
hand.
hand,
Cause you
dog.
got, cause you gotta do everything that hip hop is as far as rapping. It's the same thing in professional wrestling. It's no different. It's no different.
I've said that. I said that a million times. I said it goes both ways. I said wrestling, and just like I try to compare the talk show I was on. I said that's just like wrestling. They was trying to make me out to be the heel, and they was trying to make her out to be the face, and the promoter know whose side he was already on. I said so he was trying to
Mm.
choose her side, but I kept calling them audibles in the middle, making everybody choose my side. Now when you look at all them videos with everybody saying, you get like 80,000 comments, 10,000 of them are against me, 70,000 of them are for me. I'm like, who won this battle, baby? I'm like, B Rabbit. That's who won. B Rabbit.
Yeah. So
Hey, speaking of rap battles, I was at one yesterday. I'm here from Ohio, Toledo, and there was actually a rap battle here at this place called a Palace, and I actually get to saw a couple motherfuckers go at it, and one dude was white, and everybody kept calling him B Rabbit. He smoked the dude that was black too. He smoked him.
oh yeah, I don't. When it comes to race, I don't judge it when it comes to battle rap, cause
Ah,
I seen a few nice white rappers, man, that are no joke. I can name a few off the top of my head that are on Smack, that have been on King of the Dot, that have been on all the top promotions. So I do not throw no shade. You know what I'm saying? I know. Trust me,
Shit,
I
wow.
faced a few myself, so I know.
Dude,
I know.
the other
And
dude, he
I
trying to
just wanna
really.
I wanna take this time right quick because I gotta get ready to go. I guess like my oldest daughter who is 30 just like came in my door, and I guess like I have to go with her now. I guess it's a late birthday thing. But I want to thank Bars Wrestling Media for letting me tell
Mm,
my story. I want to thank Sis for showing up. You know I'm gonna
Yeah, no
shout you out
problem.
whenever chance I get.
yeah, right.
And as always, my name is Mr. Entertainment Horace White, and you've been entertained plus informed. I'll holla at y'all.
All right.
All right,
See
have a
you
good one.
later. See you later. All right.
Sure.
I just want to plug this in real quick. June 6th, I will be interviewing professional wrestler, indie superstar Perfection. He will be on the live with me, and we'll talk about a lot of things. I got some like surprises in there, but I'm not gonna tell y'all. I'm gonna just let the boy tell his story and whatnot, and then you guys will be, like Mr. Entertainment says, entertained. You know what I'm saying? But
Hell
he's
yeah.
dope. He's dope. Just
Yep.
I'm gonna just put it to y'all like this: if y'all ever seen the Rain Man Okada, I mean, just picture Okada on the indie circuit, younger, right now, and then
Hmm.
I
you
like
got
that.
perfection. Then you got perfection. I'm very serious. Dude can go. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I ain't gonna say no more because I ain't trying to spoil it. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Yeah, but
Well,
dude is
I just want
dope.
to say, that now I'm gonna look your matches. Actually, I'm looking your matches up right now. Actually, as we speak. So, um, yeah, you be hitting. So you be hitting.
Thank you.
You be hitting. You and Big Daddy Adriana, y'all be hitting the shit out of these grown ass men. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
Thank you. Yeah, I have some of my videos and clips and stuff on here on TikTok too, YouTube. I have Instagram. I got X, so you can find me anywhere on any of those social medias.
Yeah, I'm going to be hitting you up in the messenger so that I can set up a date for us so we can conduct the interview and things like that, and then we could map out whatever you want to talk about or whatever. The floor is going to be yours that day.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah. All
Yep.
right, everybody. So I'm gonna catch you on another exclusive of Bars Wrestling Media
I
Eszgotbarz
thought you was going.
sessions. All right, I'll
I thought
see
he was
Oh
gonna
y'all
say
yeah.
later.
bars.
Oh yeah. I got
Bars.
one more.
All right, peace.
Oh
Thank
yeah.
you.
Oh yeah. I got one more question.
Okay.
Yeah. Now the lady, the wolf lady, what her hinjo is?
What you
What was
say?
it?
Her
What's
hinjo.
his handle? Yeah.
What did you say? What was her what intro?
Yeah.
Well, you
Like
mean
for music?
her music?
Yeah.
Just
It's
go.
custom music.
It's custom.
You can find it in my videos if you look on my TikTok.
Okay. Yeah. My music is the Dudley Boy song.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
Cause
Okay.
you know why?
Oh,
I come from a Dudley family.
Oh,
okay.
okay. All right.
Baba Way and Dion Dudley.
Okay.
Okay.
You better watch for copyrights though, brother. You know what I'm saying?
I know. No, no, no. I'm making my own music.
Okay, yeah, I think
Okay.
that would be a better idea. You better just do that. You don't want Devon and Bubba Ray knocking at your door with Spike
Yeah,
Dudley.
I've met them a few times. You definitely don't want to mess with those boys.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
you
I
know.
did met. Oh, I did met the EGW original. The oval contest before table at my house.
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't think you want to be put through a table through those guys.
Mm-mm.
I don't think that would
Nope,
be a good
nope.
idea.
Nope. I did it for. I did it for at the wing right there at the top. You know what happened? Spike Dudley hit me in the low blow. I fall on a table. Who got somebody's name on now?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't think you want that to happen with them though. You know, Spike is a different
Yeah.
story. He's a little bit
Mhm.
smaller. It might not hurt as bad, but with those two
Yeah.
guys, they're a lot bigger, a lot taller too. So I don't know if you want that,
Yeah.
but yeah, I got you,
Yeah.
bro. I got you. I'll check out some of your content, bro. I'll check out some of
Okay.
your
I
stuff.
got.
I'll keep an eye out for your message too as well.
Oh,
Thank you so much for having me on.
oh, no problem.
Yeah.
Anytime, anytime, anytime. Yeah, man. We'll chat again real soon, bro. You know what I mean? We on
Okay.
a time limit, so I gotta I got skedaddle.
Okay.
But I
Good one.
thank everybody for being on the live. We'll be back with another one. Deuces.
Okay. TJ, Dudley bomb. Boom.
What's a hill that you're willing?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch some of her matches. Oh snap! This joint was still.